I felt a great disturbance in the force. As if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror. And one among them used this show to get his anger heard.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more.
What makes us different? Well, for starters, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 info, news, and opinions.
We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at twotitans_hunter.
Now, on with the show.
So, I was sitting here talking to my chat because I actually have like 8 people watching today. It's like a record for me.
And you realize you're not actually in the podcast.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the time. I was like, it's like 10:04. Where the hell is my co-host? And I go to look and I'm like, oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we're very confused. It's like I saw the message that he went live. I saw the message that Craig went live, but those two were not connected.
Yeah, everybody's live. Yeah. No, I don't see those messages while I'm streaming because the whole streaming mode stops things from happening and whatnot.
Now, I thought this week that we'd probably kick the show off with a Respawn rant because there's probably two.
Oh,
of
you
them.
want to start with that?
Well, we might as well get it out of the way.
Oh. Okay. Well, Joker was wanting to know what it has to say, so yeah, okay, cool. So
wait, before you get started though, you need to tell us which topic you're ranting on first.
Just two.
So
two.
Oh no, that's why I say first, so we can be prepared for the fury and the violence that will come.
No. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna try my best to remain calm because once I start yelling, people stop listening, and I really want to get the message across because people keep going back and forth about this. And what I'm about to list is not my opinion. It is my opinion, but I actually went out and did research, and I backed up what I thought was the thing, only to find out that Titans are way worse than I gave them credit for initially. I only thought you guys had a couple of one-shots, and this is just melee. This is not your whole arsenal, okay?
Hold on a minute. I think I've completely missed what we're talking about.
Because he hasn't gotten there yet. He's just told us this is not his opinion, but is purely his opinion.
Shatter Dive nerf. Why Shatter Dive is getting nerfed yet again?
Oh God, there's 3 rants. Oh my word.
No, there's only 2.
There's only 2. Okay.
Yeah. Dinosaurs and Shatter Dive? Is the Vex just a standing rant at this point?
Ooh, the dinosaurs. Hold on, let me make a note of that.
See, this is what I was going to say. Now, I thought it was going to be...
about it.
The dinosaur armor is, according to you, because the helmet you put on is the bottom part of the jaw for the hunters, and the top part...
Don't jump ahead.
Is the cloak.
We'll get to that.
No, I'm just explaining to the people before we get there. There's also an upcoming Vex Mythoclast nerf that Respawn is also angry about because he has yet to get the Vex Mythoclast.
30 runs.
He will probably get it 30. Just before the nerf. So this is a preemptive
I'm gonna get it right after the nerf.
A preemptive
this is a Gallahorn moment for me.
And I didn't realise there was going to be a third one, but obviously there's a third one with the upcoming nerf to Shatter Dive. So yeah, Respawn, you have the floor. Take it away. Respawn rants.
Okay.
What are we talking about first?
The Shatter Dive, everything,
Okay.
right? So before we start talking about the Shatter Dive, people just complain like already. Look, Joker's already getting going. I hardly get killed by shoulder charge anymore. Now it's all Shatter Dives.
So wait, to be fair, have you seen Bungie say they were going to nerf this anywhere? Has this been mentioned?
Yes,
okay,
it is.
Okay, so it has been mentioned.
A streamer reached out. He was complaining about it, and then Bungie said there's already a nerf. It's coming out on the 30th. I think he said.
Okay, so it's
or the 30th anniversary.
In the pipeline already. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the pipeline, ready for the 30th anniversary drop.
It's already done. It's already in the works. It's happening, right? So
didn't they say no? Anyway.
So basically, this is in reference, and like I said, I'm only talking about the melees, like the Shatter Dives and the shoulder charges and the fireballs from the Warlocks, and how overpowered each one is in its own right, and why Shatter Dive doesn't need to be touched. All right, although I mean it is, but it shouldn't be. So here's the thing. I was going to yell, scream, and be overly obstinate, but this time I want to get the point across and for people to actually listen for. The topic of the discussion is the upcoming stasis nerf yet again. I am absolutely tired of people complaining about one of the hunter's only 2 one-shot abilities. 3 if you include the highly inconsistent middle tree arc sliding melee, which, I mean, let's be honest, nobody uses that. So technically, yeah, it can. So it's on the list. Okay, so for the hunters, here's our one-shot melees, right? You have the Shatter Dive, which requires a grenade to work. It is a melee that needs a grenade. Keep that in mind. We have the Throwing Knife, and we have the Tempest Strike. Warlock has, I couldn't remember the name if it was Chain Lightning or Gale Force. Bear with me, but it's one of your lightning melees, has the potential to one-shot from full health, full shield. But they have to be like 4 resilience or lower, 5 or 4 resilience or lower. And then your Solar Fireball melee that sends out the 3 fireballs that can one-shot. And then technically your Freezing melee doesn't one-shot, but you can freeze someone long enough to follow up with a shotgun blast or just finish them off. So that can lead to a one-shot. Titans. So initially, every time I bring up the Titan, I always talk about either the Throwing Hammer or the Tempest, right? Because that's really the only 2 that stick out in my mind, because that's usually what I get killed by. But apparently, Titans have way more melee one-shots than that, right? So, Titans have 2 exotics, a Doom Marcher and a Syntheseps, right? And the Doom Marcher and the Syntheseps, according to what I saw online, because I don't know these things offhand, they work with every melee for every subclass, right? The Doom Marchers turn every charged melee on every subclass into an AoE damage melee, and the Syntheseps power up all the melees for every subclass. The Syntheseps by themselves make every Titan melee, except for the freezing one, a one-shot. All of them. Right?
Sure.
And,
in theory, yes.
And then, regarding Dune Marchers, while I was researching this, right, the website itself says, regarding Dune Marchers, here's what thegamer.com has to say. This is one of the sites that I found all this stuff on. Have you ever died to a lightning bolt through a wall? That was probably the Dune Marcher. These boots have hilariously large effective radius that seems to bypass cover. Let me say that again. It can hit you through a wall, and it bypasses cover for a one-shot. That's ridiculous. Okay, but now getting into the actual melees that the Titans have that can one-shot. You have Frontal Assault, which, on top of that, if you add the Skull Fort, makes that an infinite one-shot. Because when you shoulder charge somebody and you kill them, you get your melee right back again. There's like a 3-second cooldown or something like that before you can shoulder charge again. But yeah, you get infinite one-shot shoulder charges with the Frontal Assault paired with the Skull Fort. The same thing with the Ballistic Slam. One-shot AoE that if you kill somebody... No, it's not AoE. Sorry, it's AoE if you add the other one. Sorry. It is.
I'm going to disagree with you with the Ballistic Slam. It is not a one-shot in PvP.
Well, you're not disagreeing with me, but somebody else says that it is.
I'm disagreeing. Unless you have something on like the
Syntheseps. Yeah.
And even then, it depending on their resilience, it sometimes still is not a one-shot kill.
Yeah, if they have 10 resilience, they did specify, if they have 10 resilience, it will not kill. 10.
Or 4 resilience sometimes, because everything's RNG.
I can tell you the 3 that do one-shot melees, which is the Bottom Tree Sentinel, which is Shield Bash, which after sprinting for a short time will give you a one-shot melee, right? Then you have Top Tree Striker, which is the Seismic Strike, which is a one-shot. As you run up, you charge up the melee and then slam into them. And then the Top Tree on the Sunbreaker is the Hammer Strike, and that's the one where you do the kind of flick with the hammer. Now, they're all one-shots without an exotic. and that is
Which one is
intrinsic
that?
to all the
Yeah.
Titan the builds. There's one on each of the.
There's actually a fourth. Your throwing hammer, your Thor hammer. If you have one stack of roaring flames without an exotic that will one-shot somebody full health, full shield in PvP.
Again, that requires you to do something beforehand. So this is very similar to your argument.
So does the Shatter Die, which is why we're comparing.
That's
all
what I'm
of these.
saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll get into how they all function later. I compare and contrast. You're just jumping ahead.
But you are comparing apples to oranges here.
I'm not, actually.
You are.
I'm not.
A Titan is not a hunter, and a hunter is not a Titan.
Yeah, but the Titans have
They
more
are built
one-shots, which
differently.
is the problem. And
They
you're
are
taking
built
away the
differently.
hunters. No, but the
What do
problem
we know? They
that
are
you're
built
not
differently.
hearing is the fact that people are getting fed up with the one-shot Shatter Dive, but hunters only have 3 one-shot abilities, whereas Titans on this list alone have 9. Just from your melees. So stop jumping ahead. Stop trying to defend the BS balancing before I get a chance to explain it. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. You didn't make it this longer by interrupting, by the way. Because I'll keep going back. I don't even care. Anyway. So it also says shield throw. If you have, like you said before, if you have the Syntheseps on, shield throw can one-shot. And it can bounce from one Guardian to another. So it can one-shot
Shield
multiple
throw is
times.
part of the super.
Yeah, that's a super.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that's a one-shot. We'll remove that from the list. This is
That's why any of your void supers are up.
Yeah. So we'll remove that because they didn't specify that was from the super.
Have you got an issue with no backup plans as well?
Huh?
Because you
never mind.
should.
And he?
Nothing.
Well, the
No,
no backup
not saying
plans. The no backup plans is as big of a problem as the Dune Marches, Syntheseps, or the There was a third one on here. The leg ones, the Peregrine Greaves. Yeah.
Peregrine Greaves, you have to be in air with
know.
you have to sort of basically jump.
I'm aware. That's why I didn't even put that in because it's also only good for the one arc class, right? So yeah. Shield Bash. This is the one you were talking about. But Shield Bash not only can one-shot somebody, but you have the added bonus of disorienting people, right?
Right.
So it gets even worse. The Shield Bash can one-shot, it can disorient, and it attaches a Void Detonator so that if the Void Detonator
No,
goes
that's
off,
the middle tree. You're crossing trees.
Yeah, you're mixing
that's
paths.
what it says. I copy-pasted this, dude.
Shield Bash is bottom tree. The detonators are middle tree. You cannot do both at once.
Okay. I copy-pasted this,
Someone
so I don't know
at
how
the
they got it
gamer
back up.
didn't do
Or
their
maybe I did it backwards.
research.
Is it the Tactical Strike? Yeah, okay, so it's a Tactical Strike that goes with Controlled Demolition. I got those backwards. So next on the list is the Tactical Strike, a melee attack that creates a void explosion which sets off any nearby void detonators. Additional detonators are applied to enemies caught in the explosion. So you one-shot this guy.
No, you can't one-shot with Tactical Strike. It's repeated melee. You can attach the detonator, the void explosion, to them.
And then you
they
follow
won't
it
die
up
with
and it
one
blows
shot.
them up.
Yeah. But it depends on who gets the melee off first.
So
because
if you
you
wanted-
could attach a detonator
you could
to
say
somebody.
technically that auto-shot.
And if a hunter has meleeed you once before you've managed to put the detonator on them, and they melee you again, it's null and void because they're just walking around like with the big purple ball on them. Doesn't really matter.
And Hazelnut agrees with me. He says he never thought he'd see the day where he agrees with Respawn. Thank you, Hazel.
Suck up.
Hammer Strike. While sprinting, use its melee ability to unleash a blazing hammer strike that weakens enemies. So this one weakens and can one-shot. Right there. That's the one you were talking about, I think the top tree, where you run and you just... Yeah, I mean, it's a hammer strike. It'll one-shot. And if it somehow doesn't one-shot you, you're weak. So, whatever. Right? A Mortar Blast. Now, this one was tricky. Is this attached to a super? It says, strike an enemy with this melee to release a solar explosion, setting nearby enemies on fire.
That's part of the bottom tree super.
And that's not no.
Or I'm sorry.
Just part of the bottom tree. Yeah, it's just.
Part of the bottom tree. Sorry,
it's very similar to the void one where you put the detonators on. So it's very similar. You put a solar kind of burn on people. Again, it won't one shot.
Okay.
I wish it did. I wish all these one-shotted. I would love if all these were one-shots. I would be way better at Crucible if they did.
They are. Honestly speaking, if you put on the Syntheseps, they do all one shot. It very much
is the only
everything on this list. Everything on this list.
I'm a Syntheseps main, and I can absolutely tell you, no, they do not. I have lost so many. No, they're just you can. One-shotting people with melees is a lot harder than it sounds. In theory, yes, it's possible, and if it's powered and you're shoulder charging and doing the sprinty ones, yes, you've got a chance. You can also knock people back. People can also get through those. I have lost slap fights with warlocks and hunters wearing Syntheseps. They are absolutely not one-shots. They can be.
You talking about slap fights? Syntheseps only work with charge melees, I thought.
No, they buff your range, and if you're surrounded, it buffs the damage. So you can reach out longer and smack people with Syntheseps, but they're not like an instant one shot. I'm going to kill you. I'm just going to walk up to you and punch you every time.
I should follow this up with everything I'm talking about on this list is a charged melee, not a slap fight.
Well, then that's like 3 things.
Okay. No, I mean it's more than that. But
all right, so you've explained
I'm reading
Titans
the list
to everybody.
We're not done with the Titans yet. Hold on.
We're not done moaning about the Titans. Hold on.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. And then last but not least,
I'm waiting for you to get to the point where we can freeze people and then punch them to death.
Well, that's the last one. You guys you guys didn't miss that. While I was talking about it, you weren't in the chat. So hold on. And then the throwing hammer. So the throwing hammer is the one where it must be collected. Throw a solar hammer that must be collected where it falls. Picking it up fully charges the melee. Without exotic assistance, this can one-shot with 1 stack of roaring flames without exotic assistance. With the Syntheseps, according to the website, without the 1 stack of roaring flames, it can one-shot. But without Syntheseps, you need 1 stack of roaring flames for it to one-shot, and then you're back in the whole infinite one-shots as long as you can hit somebody body shot with it, right?
As long as you can take your hammer, hit them, collect the hammer, and throw it again to hit them, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
We've seen a couple of those videos.
As long as you can do that, right? And I'm glad you said as long as you can do that, because one of the Titan main arguments about the throwing knife is it can one-shot. But not only do we have to throw it and hit the target, it has to be a crit hit on the target for it to one-shot. But that's without exotic assistance. We'll get to that. And then last is your sliding ice wall on the behemoth. The ice behemoth is the only one that, even with a charged melee, even with the Syntheseps, Dune Marchers, whatever you want to add to it, will not one-shot. It doesn't one-shot. It's been nerfed into it one-shot in the beginning. It doesn't one-shot anymore. They nerfed it. But if you add the what is it? The fragment, which lets you slide and make an ice wall, you can freeze an enemy long enough to follow up and kill them. Technically not a one-shot, but can lead to a one-shot. Right?
So that's exactly the same as Shatter Dive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
You just described Shatter Dive, so that's a 1-for-1 parody. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Okay. But you don't need a grenade to do that. You just need a charged melee, which has a shorter cooldown than a grenade, without exotic assistance. And then I went on to write this whole, wow, normally I only have one, the Titan Arc or Solar Melee in mind when I compare the one-shot abilities, Titans and Hunters, and even I didn't know that Titans had so many broken melees at their disposal. Okay, getting back on track, let's talk about how complicated these are to perform in PvP scenarios. I'll be using steps in this case to break them down easily. Disclaimer, we will avoid exotics that can decrease melee or grenade cooldowns because there's so many, and it'll overcomplicate the discussion. And even if you add those into the mix, it doesn't really change the effectiveness of all these different melees in the hierarchy. So
will we also discuss how randomly PvP melee hits are registered and damage is applied?
Yeah, yes. And the Jez's latest video, I called out because he was making a video about the chaperone, and 3 times he tried to shatter dive somebody and they didn't die, and they shotgunned him and killed him. So yeah, we'll get to the whole inconsistency of the whole thing, right?
Well, it sounds like you've absolutely failed to shatter dive somebody, because the first step of that is freeze them.
Well, people say that you don't have to be frozen to get shatter dive to death, which is technically true. They have to be like within arm's length of 1 crystal or whatever.
Yeah,
but if you don't freeze
you can
them,
be behind that
they
wall.
jump away, or they dodge away, or they get away if you don't freeze them with the grenade. So
you can absolutely be standing behind that shatter dive wall, and when that wall gets shattered, you can absolutely get killed, even though you weren't frozen. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah, but that depends on what aspects and fragments that you actually have on.
Right.
And it also depends on the explosion RNG of these crystals, because you can be that close and not all the crystals go off and kill you. So shatter dive. Step 1. You must equip the shards and fragments necessary to use shatter dive, and after the recent nerfs, power up the crystal explosion damage / distance. Right? If you don't have that on, shatter dive's not going to one shot. It doesn't have the power to one shot without that crystal damage power up fragment or whatever, right?
Is shatter dive itself not an inherent perk? Do you need a fragment for that, or is it just the damage you need a fragment
shatter
for?
dive? You need a fragment for that. You do not inherently have shatter dive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure. That's what I was asking. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Step 2. You must have a grenade, which, if you didn't know, melees always have shorter cooldowns than grenades without exotic assistance. Just us, right? So you will be able to shatter dive less often than Titans or Warlocks can use their one-shot melee. But coming back, step 3, this is your choice. You can either A, jump, or B, throw your grenade, right? Most people jump first because it's easier to throw the grenade down and ice the enemy than it is to throw the grenade forward and ice the enemy. So jump is step 3. Step 4 is whatever you didn't do on step 3, right? But be aware, the ice crystals have to be within at least 1 ice crystal distance, which is 3 meters, I think, in order to perform a potential one-shot. And I say potential one-shot here because if they are this far, one of 2 things will happen. 1, they can jump away, right? They won't get frozen if they're that far from the ice crystals. When it comes down, they don't get frozen. So either A, they jump away, like I just said, or B, not all the ice crystals break, leaving the enemy alive and with most of their health minus their shield. And a good example of how this fails is in the Jez's latest video called the Pay to Lose Chaperone Ornament. In this video, he fails to kill 2 or 3 people with shatter dive. I mean, you see it lands close. You think they're about to die, and then they just don't, and then they shotgun him and kill him, and that's good examples of how inconsistent shatter dive, right?
So, can I just interject here that that you can dodge out of the way of a shoulder charge, you can jump out of the way of a shoulder charge?
Oh, I'll get to that. Get to that because
they've taken that down several times.
Technically,
so that it isn't as
you can, but in a lot of videos, and even my own personal experience, when I dodge out of the way, one of 2 things will happen. A, that Titan auto tracks to where I just dodged to and hits me anyway. Or B, the Titan hits where I used to be, where there's I guess a ghost image of where I used to be, hits that thing, kills me any damn way. The only reliable way to dodge a Titan shoulder charge is to get high enough out of the way so it can't auto track. Dodging, technically, you're right, you can dodge, but it is inconsistent, and you're more likely, I think the thing said, you're 75 to 80% likely to still get killed by a charging Titan while dodging than if you just jumped out of the way. So when I say jump, I don't mean 1 jump, because some of these Titan shoulder charges can still track you up in the air if you're only 1 jump high. So you have to jump twice if you're a hunter, or get to more than medium height if you're a Titan or a Warlock, to avoid a Titan ground shoulder charge. Step 5 for the shatter dive. Yeah, 5 steps for a shatter dive to work. Step 5 is pray that the grenade lands close enough to freeze your target. Lol, kidding. Real step 5 is to aim and initiate the shatter dive melee, right? So 5 steps. 5 steps to get a shatter dive to function, and it depends heavily on grenade cooldown. Okay.
So quick review. What were those 5 steps? Because I honestly lost track.
Equip the proper shards and fragments necessary to do a shatter dive and power up the crystals. Because if you have the shatter dive without the crystal power up, you're not going to one shot, even if you free somebody.
All right. So equip the things you need.
Yep. Have to have a charged grenade, a fully charged grenade.
Mm-hmm.
Jump, throw a grenade, initiate shatter dive.
Okay.
So while you're in the air, you have to hit a whole different button to actually hit the shatter dive thing.
Right.
So you got to jump, throw a grenade, and then hit the shatter dive button, which is not a button that's mapped to anything. You have to actually map a shatter dive button, right?
Isn't that
on PC controllers? I guess you guys have it already.
Yeah, isn't that just B? Like, at least on the Xbox.
Yeah, on a controller it's easier, I guess. But if you're on a keyboard, like my shatter dive,
it's just throw
like
down the grenade
control.
and jump and push the button to come down again.
Yeah. A to jump, B to shatter dive.
What do you do if you don't have a grenade? You can jump in the air. You can do a shatter dive, but it's going to do, 13 damage to their shield?
Right.
And then you die.
Not necessarily.
Yes, necessarily. A shatter dive, according to every person ever, including all these YouTubers, the shatter dive without the grenade does not even do half shield damage. You can disagree all you want. The math is against you on that, homeboy. Going to the throwing knife. Again, without exotic assistance. Step 1, have charge melee.
Okay,
Step 2,
knife, got it.
Yeah. Step 2, throw knife and pray to RNGesus that you land that headshot. Otherwise, a body shot will not kill from full health or shield. Let me say that again. A throwing knife will not kill on a body shot without exotic assistance.
Right.
And then you won't get it back. So, yeah. You have to hit a precision target with a throwing knife in order for it to one shot. And there's a wind up to it. He flicks the knife like a dumbass and then throws it. So there's a wind up, there's an aiming, and then you have to hope that you hit a crit. Which is, not easy to do in a PvP environment.
Is there auto tracking on that knife? Not to say that makes it easier, but is there any tracking or anything on it at all?
There was really good auto tracking at the beginning of 5 seasons ago.
Does it show the Jotun's auto tracking journey of super sticky and now?
No, it used to be that sticky, but then it got nerfed into oblivion.
Right,
so now the auto tracking, if you're within a few inches of a Guardian's head, whether it be up, down, left, or right, it'll track that couple of inches. But it's nowhere near the tracking it used to be, and it's definitely not like a Jotun tracking.
Well, that's why I asked, because the Jotun sort of had the same thing. It was super sticky, and then it was less sticky, and then I don't know where it's at stickiness today. But it was super sticky, and then they just nerfed the tracking as its life went on. I didn't know if the throwing knife had the same journey of when it came out, it was super sticky, and then they made it less sticky as it went along. Which I'm guessing that's what it sounds like. But yeah, doesn't really matter. I was just curious, again, not being familiar with all the hunter mechanics.
Epic, step 6 would be the teabag. No, wait, hold on. Andy, step 6 is the teabag. I'm sorry. Epic, they treat hunters like the redheaded stepchild because hunters are the redheaded stepchild. And you guys have been saying a lot, so I'm going to have to catch up with you guys in a minute. Stand by.
There sure are a lot of redheaded stepchildren in this story.
Okay, Warlocks. Warlocks is actually kind of easy. Step 1, have a charge melee. Step 2, you have to aim, because most of your charge melees are still ranged. So you have to aim, which is not the easiest thing to do, because not all of them have tracking. Your fireballs have some semblance of tracking, and your ice has some semblance of tracking, but you still have to aim. It's not going to chase them around a corner type tracking. And fortunately for Warlocks, you do not need to land a crit. You can body shot one shot with your melee that we discussed. Titans, they're all the same steps except the throwing hammer, the throwing shield, which we've said is from a super, so we'll get rid of that. And your sliding ice wall. All the steps are the same. Step 1.
I'm worried.
Have a charge melee.
Sounds really planned out, this respawn rant.
Right? Step 1, have a charge melee. Step 2, this is very important. Hold down the W key. Actually, if you're on a controller, the sprint button.
Yeah.
Okay.
Run long enough to get a sprint going for a couple seconds.
Right. Unless you're using a hammer, then step 2 is to get at least one stack of roaring flames.
And how does one get a stack of roaring flames?
You have to get a kill with another ability, like a grenade or a super or something like that, I think.
Hammer.
I don't really know how roaring flames works. Yeah, you can shoot somebody a few times and finish them off with that hammer, and that'll give you a stack of roaring flames. And from that point forward, that hammer by itself is just gonna pop, 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 pop.
Right. So once you've killed someone, then you can get your Roaring Flames, then you go on your one-shot melee streak.
Yeah.
So you need 2 hunters standing near you and not paying attention to hammers coming at their faces.
Not really, because you have a timer where that's active, right? Like, what's the timer on Roaring Flames? Like 8 seconds?
No idea.
8 seconds, 6 seconds, something like that. It's like between 5 and 10, somewhere in that range.
They did recently just buff it because it was underperforming.
Yeah, it was definitely
And then
useless.
step 3, yeah, that's why I can one-shot now. It's after the buff. And step 3, press melee when target exists. Titans, unlike warlocks and hunters, have no need to aim their melees because all their melees have at least a small amount of tracking. You don't have a single one of your melees that don't have some semblance of tracking.
And all but one of them have also 0 range, so we have to run up next to you to use them. Except for
but most of the time, whenever you're going to use a melee like that, you're coming around a corner anyway. If you're a Titan that sees somebody down an aisle and you're going to run towards them the whole time instead of shooting at them, let's be honest, you deserve to die. Mm-hmm. Or if you're letting a Titan charge at you for that long and you don't kill him, you deserve to die.
Exactly.
But that tracking was nerfed. Okay, so here we go. That tracking was nerfed a couple of seasons ago. See, I brought it up. And this is for all of your melees, because you used to have really good tracking.
The tracking used to be day one Jotun absurd. Yeah. I would find you at your mama's house down the block with a shoulder charge.
Right. But that tracking was nerfed a couple of seasons ago. That went from having a guaranteed hit tracking to being only mostly hitting. So I think the stats, I don't have the stats in here, but I think you went from like a 90% hit rate to like a 70% hit rate, 65, 70. So it's not as OP as it used to be, but you still have a majority of hitting over missing. And guaranteed tracking, the tracking is included in their throwing hammer and throwing shield as well. But again, throwing shield is a super. Get that out. So you could aim those, but only a little. The Titan sliding ice wall requires just a smidge of skill and the addition of the aim step and the addition of the shard/fragment, I don't know which one it is for you guys, to allow you to do the sliding ice wall. As the ice wall just comes out in a straight line, whichever direction you're facing. There's no tracking on the ice wall. So whatever direction you're facing, when you do that slide, that's where that ice wall is going.
Yep.
And the only reason that's included,
basically straightforward.
Yeah. And the only reason that is even on this list is because, again, it itself does not one shot. But like the Warlock, it'll freeze you long enough for them to follow up with a shotgun. Or the Titan also has that other thing where he can slide through ice crystals to destroy them, kind of like a shatter dive. So he can slide once to create the wall and then do that other slide to destroy the wall with you in it. And that'll one shot you too. So technically a 2-step. And that's really it for the whole list of stuff. But this list right here is supposed to demonstrate that everybody complains about Shatter Dive. But Shatter Dive is not the most prominent problem, right? And it does require a grenade, which is a longer cooldown than anything else on this list, right? But people always complain about it because it's one of the few one-shots that hunters have that's got an AoE to it, and it's an almost guaranteed, if you get everything right, one-shot, right? And everybody complains about this. And it doesn't deserve to be nerfed like this. It doesn't deserve to be treated like this because there's other things in the game that are far worse and far more effective at killing than the damn Shatter Dive is. And I'm tired of people complaining about it. It doesn't deserve that kind of negative publicity.
Although I think you know why it gets the negative publicity?
Because there's more hunters in every other class?
There's more hunters and there's more Shatter Dives. It may be easier to one-shot with the Titan, but I think, again, I wish Bungie would put out some numbers on this. But I would hazard a guess that, based on number of kills in the Crucible, number of times people have been Shatter Dove versus, getting punched in the face by a Titan, the numbers I would bet were significantly higher for Shatter Dive. So it seems like a bigger problem.
It is, and that's exactly right. Which is just the number of people that use it. Right. But the skill itself is not overpowered.
Right, because it is everywhere. It's going to feel like that's the biggest problem because that's what everyone is running into.
Mm-hmm. And the same thing with the throwing knife.
Just like Vex and PvP right now.
Throwing knives,
Yeah, it's just like the Vex and PvP. Right now, everybody who has a Vex, that's what you remember. Just like when Jotun was at his peak, just like when Not Forgotten and Luna's Hell, it is the thing that everyone's seeing, so that's what everyone's going to be screaming about right now.
Right.
Shatter Dive is gotten less prominent since the nerfs, but is still definitely on that list of everybody uses it, so that's what everybody experiences.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. They're taking away hunters. Again, do exactly to your point. Get more nerfs than any other class because when a hunter gets something that's good. That. Well, no, okay. The numbers.
I think I said
you mentioned there's more. Being
hunters. There's more hunters that people are seeing. Yeah, there's more hunters. So whatever the hunters are doing that people are annoyed with, it's going to feel like a bigger problem because there's just more hunters. So you're going to see the thing more often, no matter what it is the hunter can do.
And that's why hunters get nerfed more than everybody else is because there's just so many of us. People think, oh, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken. It's not broken. It's not any more broken than any of the crap that's in the game now. It's just that there's more of us doing that thing that people don't like. Also, Hazelnut has said, I survived more Shatter Dives than Warlock Melees. Preach, brother. We got a new guy that actually agreed with you. Scratch Reflex says, agreed, Peroty, 100%. If Titans had more numbers than the other two classes, they would be the ones catching all the heat and the nerfs. So,
right.
To your point, yeah.
And the thing is, with what you're saying about the nerf, you don't know what the nerf is as yet. All you know is that Bungie have said that they're going to take another pass at it and look at Shatter Dive. Now, this could mean that you have to do a direct hit. You have to freeze them rather than be close to actually being near the grenade. So in that case, if you're silly enough to be standing, still enough for somebody to freeze you, and then they get away with shatter diving you, it's your own fault. And I agree that that should happen. But the thing is, if you are close to the shatter dive when they do the shatter dive, that even with the aspect of the fragment that gives a bigger explosion, that shouldn't be a one-shot kill because it hasn't taken any skill to actually freeze you. You're too far away from it, or you should take damage.
Talking about the Warlock?
No, I'm talking about the shatter dive for the hunters.
Oh, sorry, I was reading chat. What were you saying? Why shouldn't it one shot?
I was saying if you weren't frozen by the grenade, then it shouldn't be a one shot because several times in trials in the last couple of weeks, we've been, me and the team have been near the frozen ice wall and reviving somebody, and the hunter will come in and shatter dive, and it will kill all three members. No, but we weren't on top of the ice wall. We were quite a way back, which is why I think both of us ran in. I mean, I can vaguely remember like a couple of times that this has happened. Both team members have run in to actually revive the person, and we both die, even though as we res them, we should have an overshield, so we shouldn't take that much damage. But all three of us get killed by it. Now, that shouldn't happen. I admit, we should take enough damage that maybe we are a one-shot after that, which is absolutely fine.
If that's your complaint about the range, then we need to get rid of the range on the freaking...
Yeah, but I'm not complaining about it.
Doom Archer does take the exotic, so whatever.
Like I said, we don't know what the nerf is as yet. It could just be a slight tuning.
A nerf is still a nerf, though, man. And they're doing this... The whole point of the nerf is to make it not as good. And my point that I'm trying to make is, it's not that bad. There's just more of it, right? We're getting unjustly nerfed all the damn time. Going back to Peroty's point, he said how much tracking is on that knife. Well, our knife used to have really good tracking, and it was a viable thing to
so did our one-shot melees.
And then it got
our
nerfed.
One-shot melees got nerfed into the ground.
Your tracking got nerfed, not the damage.
Yeah, but the tracking was the thing. It was like,
hit
the easy button. Now it takes a bit more skill.
It's still an easy button. Like I said earlier, you still kill 65
really
to 70% of your charges.
It's really, in PvP, it really isn't. It really isn't. If you have a shotgun, if you have a hand cannon, if you have a melee, if you can freeze me, I have to put my entire body on the line to walk up to you and punch you in the face.
Yeah. And
I'm absolutely risking everything to pull this off. It is not it is not an easy one shot. I can walk around and just run up and punch you and move on with life. That is not a thing.
Face it, if it was that easy, you'd see that a hell of a lot more in trials, and people would be complaining about the one-shot Titan abilities, going, "This is completely unfair. We've got Titans running around with overshields, killing us with one shots." It's not, because people can easily
see the hunters and you see the warlocks. Because the warlocks, at least for right now, have superior mobility over all the other classes. That solar warlock is
the thing is,
and then they have the empowering rift. What?
The thing is, Respawn, if you're a hunter and I'm running at you, and you know I'm going to try and shoulder charge you, what would you do? You'd throw down your grenade, you freeze me, and then you do a shatter dive.
If you have a grenade, you guys are heavily. Once I use that shatter dive grenade, I don't have it again for another minute or two.
But even with that, you can jump in the air and shatter dive out of the way. You can use it to your tactical advantage. You don't necessarily.
You can use your superior mobility to get away from us.
Again, if we're 2 jumps high, you might be right. But anything under our first jump, you're still going to hit us and kill us.
Oh,
you know,
you can roll away and dodge as well.
The dodging, I've already covered that. Dodging is highly inconsistent when it comes to dodging a Titan.
So is the Titan shoulder charge. You can just flat out outrun a Titan. You can just take up and run the other way. Now, yes, if they're coming around a corner, you're screwed. That's on you. Just like if I come around a corner with you with a shotgun, we're going to be dead. That's a thing.
Well, it depends on when you see them, because you do have ridiculous lunge range too.
So we have ridiculous lunge range with syntheseps to a point. But if you see us, you can, as a hunter, turn tail and run the other way. I cannot catch you. Maybe if I max.
We're talking about ability to ability here, right? If I start running from you, you're just going to stop and start shooting me while I'm running away. You know. So I mean.
Well, right.
Titans are very dangerous no matter what you do. You want to run from a charging Titan, you try to challenge the charging Titan, which most likely you're not going to win unless you have a shotgun, in which case you'll trade in most cases, not necessarily win. Or you can run away, and when you start to run away, they'll shoot you in the back as you're running away. Because you can't strafe backwards faster than the Titan can run forward. I would have to turn and run that direction.
Well, I mean, the moment you bring guns into the equation, it doesn't matter what the abilities are, because of course the gun is going to outplay the ability.
Yeah, right. But we don't have any ability that's gonna challenge you aside from, like he was saying, that shatter dive. Okay, cool. I use shatter dive to kill you. You still have your charge. You can charge and kill me, and then have your melee up to charge and kill me again before I'll have my grenade.
So shoot me with a gun, and this is a moot point.
Like, well, it's not a moot point. The point is that shatter dive is nerfed when it shouldn't be. And it's continuously nerfed. Hunters in general are continuously nerfed. And almost all these nerfs that come out with the stasis almost always has something to do with the hunter and the goddamn shatter dive. I'm tired of it. Honestly, I don't even use shatter dive. I use throwing knife. But the point is people out there should be able to use it if they want to, because it puts us on par with a lot of these other one-shots. And every time there's a nerf coming out, people bitch about it. Hey, shatter dive is broken. Shatter dive is broken. No, it's not. It's just there's more hunters using it than there are warlocks using the freaking triple fireball, right? It's not busted in any way. It's balanced because it doesn't require a melee charge. It requires a grenade charge. That alone makes it balanced.
Respawn.
Barring everything else.
As a hunter, would you not have something else that you'd like to play as, rather than switching to the default of doing shatter dive to actually accomplish something in Crucible? Would you rather play as a different subclass? It just seems like it's the button that you push that everybody's doing it. We might as well just join in and get it.
But see, there's that age-old argument. Why don't you just play Titan if they're so broken?
No, I don't want to play Titan. He didn't say Titan. He said another subclass.
Oh, subclass. I'm sorry. I thought you said another class.
You can stay on your hunter. No one's saying get off your hunter.
No.
We're just saying
you've got get off the class that I happen to find fun. Oh, shatter dive keeps getting nerfed. Okay, well, I'll go to throwing knife. Well, then everybody's going to see throwing knife in the Crucible. Throwing knife's going to be broken. Well, now that gets nerfed. Well, let's go to Middle Tree Arc. Now everybody start using that sliding melee. Everybody sees that everybody's using that. That's broken. We need to nerf that.
Welcome to how Bungie has run this game from the start.
Well, except for Titans, you guys had one-eyed mask for how freaking long? You guys still, and they to this day, have one-shot melees?
They kept tuning it and tuning it.
9 years you've had one-shot melees?
Anyway, they kept on tuning that.
Who is punching you in the Crucible so much? That's what I want to know.
Titans!
As someone who tries to punch people in the Crucible and gets murdered all the time, like who are these people just like punching you over and over and over and over again? Like how many times have you been meleeed in Crucible this week? Who hurt you like this?
I didn't play Crucible this week. I stay away from Crucible if I have to go in.
Then why do you care?
Because
I'm sorry.
they keep nerfing my class when it doesn't deserve to be nerfed. That's why I care. Because the times I do have to go into Crucible, I have no options because any option I want to use that's going to make me competitive gets nerfed.
So you can't use your guns in Crucible because those aren't competitive? I'm just
your
confused.
argument is invalid because you keep going back to that. How about you never use any of your abilities ever? I don't ever want to see you shoulder charge. I don't ever want to see you pop a bubble.
Fine. Peroty and I will agree never to shoulder charge again.
You only use guns.
It's the other Titans that you've got.
Guns are half to play. Abilities are the other half, dude.
Dude, you
and our abilities keep getting nerfed. We have to rely on gunplay because we don't have any goddamn abilities left.
So do I.
Respawn, I've been playing Bottom Tree Sunbreaker for the last 2 seasons, even in Crucible. I don't have a one-shot melee with that.
With what?
On my Sunbreaker, I don't have a one-shot melee on the Bottom Tree Sunbreaker.
Is that the throwing hammer or is that the
no,
weakness?
that's the one. Nothing. If you hit somebody, it may give you a burn on them, but it doesn't destroy them in one shot.
Yeah, there's no shoulder charge.
Because the only ones I mentioned were the ones that weaken and then the throwing hammer.
I don't use those.
That's his point. Is he's not playing with that.
Okay.
I've been running mid-tier bubble middle tree void forever because I like the detonators in PvE. PvP, they do functionally nothing, and it doesn't give me a one-shot melee. Like, I haven't used them in forever. Like, yes, they're in the game, but that's not how I'm playing Crucible. I don't think anybody having any bit of success in Crucible is playing Crucible. Yeah, it's a viable option. Maybe in trials, if there's one person left and I've got someone on my team, I'll try to chase someone down and one-shot them with the melee. But beyond that, it's not really a viable thing. There are hand cannons in the game. If hand cannons exist, you're not shoulder charging that many people unless they're really unaware.
It depends on the map, dude. A lot of these maps are very conducive for CQC. Shotguns, Titan melee, things like that.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
If there's a lane and you're trying to shoulder charge down a lane, you're a dumbass, right? I totally agree.
Right. Yeah. I'm agreeing with you. Shoulder charging it's a thing in the game, but it's not a thing that's running rampant. It is a part of the subclass. It is a part of the class, yes. Just like everything else in the game. It exists. So does your hunter dodge ability. I wish I could dodge. I would love the dodge. I would give anything to dodge away from things.
Yeah.
But I can't. So
that's why you want those damn boots back to give you a dodge. I know what you're planning. That's why I'm glad Bungie hadn't put that back in the game yet. Last thing I need is a dodgy Titan.
Oh, did I have to jump into the air and dodge?
Sorry.
The chest piece.
Yeah. I mean, jumping in the air isn't that big a thing. I had to jump in the air to use Shatter Dive. Apparently, you don't think that's a big deal.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, can I cheer you up slightly with your Shatter Dive?
You can try.
Okay.
You know you won't, but you can try, yeah.
I will try. So, you know that in the Witch Queen, that the Void subclass is getting a rework.
For the Warlocks, yeah.
No, for every class.
Is it for all class?
All Void is being reworked. Okay.
Yeah, every Void subclass is getting a rework.
Something that was picked up on in one of the videos, or one of the Vidocs that they released, was they saw a hunter doing a Shatter Dive on Void, and it disorientated the players that were around it at the time. So they're reworking like Shatter Dive to be a part of the Void subclass. So that might have some reason or some bearing on what they're actually planning to do with the actual Shatter Dive for the stasis. So there is something coming, it may be something that's included with every subclass that you can do a Shatter Dive, but Void is the first one that's being reworked.
People are complaining because it's too aggressive and it one-shots. My argument here is there's all kinds of things in this game that are aggressive and can one-shot, right? Yeah. What you're talking about is, okay, I'll have a Shatter Dive that'll disorient, but it won't one-shot. That might allow me to follow up with a shotgun or something, which would be cool.
But it might one-shot. We don't even know.
Yeah, there may be an exotic that comes along. Yeah. There may be an exotic that comes along that helps that.
And then that'll get nerfed immediately.
Welcome to playing Destiny 2. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like, that's been Bungie's plan from day one.
The squeaky wheel Titan one-shot melee has been around for 9 years. I'd love to see that get some grease. Or
It has,
whatever you just
and we've
said.
been over this.
Well, hunters,
You're
everyone.
tracking, not your damage. I want them to with the damage.
Hunters,
I
everyone
would
go to
much rather them give
Bungie.
you back that OP tracking and nerf the damage than to take away the tracking and leave the damage. If we're being honest.
You need to take your respawn army and have them go to Bungie to the comments and give feedback that the hunter melees are not nearly good enough. The Titan one shots are ruining the game for everyone, and they need to be taken care of immediately. So Bungie can pull the numbers and look at it and see where the kills are coming from if it's something they need to worry about.
Yeah, guys, y'all get on that.
I would honestly love to see numbers on like Shatter Dive kills versus really melee kills overall, and be like, are any of these melees anything
it wouldn't have to
reasonable
be
in
between
PvP
classes
at all?
because, like you said, there's going to be more hunters, so that number's always going to be higher. But
Within
the same class,
for
how do Titans get all their kills? Do Titans get all their kills with their melees? Do they get all their kills with
weapons?
No, I'm just saying, like that's
don't.
more the numbers that need to be drawn out.
Right.
You know
Well,
what
that's why I'm curious. Like, and again, adjusting it for population size, but like, look at averages. Look at averages across this many games with this many Titan. You can run the analysis based on the numbers of and even things out population wise, like per match. I don't disagree with you that it's a problem, but I don't feel like it's a scourge like you're making it out to be.
Well, okay, even if I'm making it out, even if I'm over exaggerating, which I personally don't think I am, but let's play devil's advocate. Let's say I'm over exaggerating, right?
Yeah.
On that same token, Shatter Dive being as air quotes bad as it is also being grossly overshadowed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not that bad. I went over this. It's a 5-step one shot that requires a grenade
really,
to function.
Right.
You know.
It's basically don't be near a hunter and you won't get shatter dived. Shatter dived.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to. And if you're getting shatter dived all the time, be less aggressive or be more aware or wait for stasis to get nerfed and everyone to stop playing it.
Yeah,
like it's another part of the game. You just have to adjust to it.
Change how you change the gaming style. Yeah, not nerf the shatter dive itself. I'm on board with that. I wish they would do that. But
again, you don't know what they're going to do. I think you need to wait until see what they're going to do before you kind of jump ahead and get down their throats about you don't want it nerfed. You don't know when it's actually here. I could understand if that was the thing. They nerfed it into the ground and you can't do anything with it now. But they haven't said what they're going to do with it. So I think until they actually come out with what they're going to do, and I appreciate them to actually give us numbers on the reasoning behind why they're doing it, because for like people like with Respawn, they can't see the reasons why these things are happening and maybe justify it and say, look, this is the amount of shoulder charges that actually do happen in Crucible compared to the shatter dives. This is the reason why this is being taken down and or adjusted in this way. You will still be able to do this and this, but you won't be able to do this. So we think that it's a good balance. Get back to us on whether you think it's not. I'd appreciate a bit more conversation on this whole thing because it infuriates, not just Respawn, but a lot more other hunters that do agree with him. I think I've seen it on Twitter. There's a lot of people that are unhappy that they just come out and say, oh, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
and
if you're going to do
Hazelnut's
this,
point, Hazelnut's all like,
give us a little bit of detail.
Hazelnut's all like, I wish they would keep nerfing, Titan melee so they can see how we feel and see how they feel about it. But I mean, that being the case, right? I agree, Hazelnut, but at the same time, no, they haven't adjusted your damage.
They have to the point for PvP. PvP, I mean, PvE is whatever.
Right.
PvP, I don't feel like the melee is that big. Like, that's not my go-to. That's not a thing I think about. I don't like the melee.
No, it's a panic thing. The whole point of it is it's a panic thing. Like, you turn a corner, you see somebody standing there like, boom, one-shot melee.
And I just also remind you of the conversation I've just had with you guys that they are reworking the Void subclass. They are starting with the Void subclass. They are reworking all of the subclasses. So Solar and Arc will also be touched. We don't know what's in this rework as at the moment. So it could be that they take away that one-shot ability unless you have an exotic that powers it up, which would then hopefully negate this argument.
I mean, yeah, but for right now, the argument's still a thing, you know. And my biggest complaint about it is like, you know how for years in D1 and then into D2, it's called the Fist of Panic, right? A Titan finds himself in
super.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know. But hear me out. Let me get to the end. Right? I'm not talking about the Fist of Panic. I'm just talking about how it's an instantaneous kill, right? If a Titan finds himself in some trouble. Now, aside from the ones where you have to throw, right? All 6 of these melees we discussed that aren't super related and you don't have to throw, right? Freaking, if you turn a corner and you see somebody's there, you panic melee, right? It's not a super, but it still kills this guy in one shot, right?
No.
It might as well be a one-man super every time you turn a corner, you know?
Who's sprinting around corners like all the time? Like you have to be in full sprint to get this off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can turn a corner at a dead run at a full sprint, see someone, and have them be close enough, and hope my tracking actually works accurately enough to get the kill. Because you can absolutely whiff a shoulder charge. It will absolutely go over, around, through people. Like you can go through people and it does no damage. So yeah, like it's absolutely a possibility, but it's not like I can just walk around a corner and punch you in the face and you drop dead.
Right.
Because the tracking doesn't know that person's around the corner. You could see that person, but it doesn't automatically track them. They literally do have to be right in front of you for it to kind of track.
Right.
But you still have the option, though, is the thing. Like,
no, you can push the button and you can whiff it.
If I turn a corner and I see somebody and I throw that knife, most of the time it's gonna track for their chest, right? Because they're so close, it's not gonna have time to go to the head. And I mean, we whip throwing knives all the time. In my opinion, the thing that would end this argument, like pretty much forever, is make every one of the Titan one shots a precision.
I just feel that you have an issue with Titans.
Yeah, no, that's not going to solve the problem.
Only because of their one shots. Only because of the one shots, dude. That's literally my only problem with Titans is their sheer number of one shots. Now we've just discussed the melees. Wow. I went further in depth on these, and overall, Titans overall have, when you include their other abilities and their other exotics, have so many one shots. It is unbearable, and that's not even getting into the whole what Joker was talking about earlier about all the things they give you overshields and stuff too. It's ridiculous. In PvP, Titans are gods, dude. And it's absurd.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, sir. Titans are not gods of PvP. There are some, sure. But I will absolutely not hand to you that Titans are the lords of PvP in this game.
Oh, otherwise you'd see everybody rocking a Titan.
Hard disagree.
No, because
outside of Destiny,
people play their classes because they like their class. But overall, with the sheer number of abilities, exotics, overshields, one shots,
do you play PvP ever? Because I'll tell you, Revenant Hunters, my friend, all the way down.
Because
Revenant Hunters.
When Shattered Eye gets nerfed, then what?
Still Revenant Hunters because of that super, because of the movement, because of the ability to freeze. Revenant Hunters all the way down, and also
they dominate
Hunters.
PvP because there's so many of them, Nosy. That's why.
Hunters all the way down. So many Hunters. Yeah, there are Titans in PvP. They're all Hunters. There's so many Hunters, and the Titans on the other teams are not the ones mapping the floor with us or mopping the floor with us. It's the Hunters. Yeah, if you want to say that a hunter and a Titan walking into each other in a dark bar, and the Titan's going to run up and punch a hunter in the face and win, sure, I will give you that all day long. If you're going to tell me that the one shot, melee ability is the reason that like Titans are so powerful in the game, hard disagree.
The one shot is my biggest problem. It's not the only problem, but like if that was tuned down so that none of your melees could, well, not none. Hunters have 3. Give the Titans 3, right? If you had the same number of one shots as we did, and like they were balanced, like one, like okay, you're throwing hammer. Even with roaring flames, you have to land a crit for that to be a one shot, right? Instead of a body shot, right? I know you can't crit with it, but it needs to have a crit, right? That'll put you on par with Hunter. Instead of a body shot kill, it's got to be a headshot, right?
Then I would also like the ability to dodge away as a Titan.
But that's your class ability. That's not your melee. We're talking melees, dude. You're jumping into class abilities.
Then I would like more ranged melees, please.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I would love for you to have more ranged melees. As long as they...
You were just saying that you didn't.
No, you really would not.
No, as long as they had the same restrictions as hunter ranged melees do.
But you're asking for the Titans to become hunters.
No.
Yeah.
I'm asking for a balance between the melees. You have too many one-shots. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so I think, to be honest, you've done this one to death. There are 2 other respawn rants that I'm sure that you want to get around to.
The other ones are short.
They were probably shorter, yes.
The other ones are really short, right? So the Dino one, right? From day one.
Well, he hasn't done his research on the Dino one, so.
Right?
Yeah.
From day one, I have told people, hunters, I don't give a damn with the Warlocks and the Titans, right? I don't care what you pick. Because hunters are going to decide the numbers, right? There's so many more hunters than any other class. If the hunters all voted for monster, and every Titan and every Warlock voted for freaking Dino, then the hunters will still have monster.
What you've just said.
Right?
Can I just highlight what you've just said?
What? There's more hunters?
That there are more hunters. Right. Okay. Carry on.
Yeah. That's never been doubtful, dude. There's always been more hunters.
Considering the argument we've just had, just never mind. Let's move on.
Peroty already made a point about there's more hunter numbers. That's why we, are under the gun.
Nitedemon,
Peroty made that point. You're remaking
an oppressed
the point Peroty already made.
class.
Oh, I'm not a class trader. What the hell are you talking about, Nosy? I'm not a class trader. I've still played Hunter more than any other class in my life. I love Hunter. I will never play anything but a Hunter.
Stop distracting him, chat. He's on a Dino rant.
I'll come back. I'll come back to that. What was I saying?
Dinos. Since day one.
Yeah.
You've been saying about the dinos because the hunters couldn't get together.
The hunters vote Dino. Vote freaking monster because the Dino was ugly. It looked like some bargain basement Spirit of Halloween painted on scale freaking cloth armor. It was hideous looking. It was hideous. But everybody out there just saw, oh, I can be a raptor. Never mind the fact that the raptor was ugly. Their argument was all like, well, it'll look better in the render. Well, now we have the render. It's still ugly, right? And I told everybody from the beginning, you could be Godzilla. I don't know why you're trying to be Blue from freaking Jurassic Park when you could be Godzilla, but whatever. Some people have a dino fetish. But now that it's out, not only does it still look like absolute, but for the first time in Bungie history, and correct me if I'm wrong, but for the first time in Bungie history, they've taken a helmet for a hunter and split the helmet between our helmet and our class item.
Yes. And I saw you having a little bit of a rant about this earlier in the week, and I went back and I had a look at their design, their mock-up for your Godzilla for the hunters. And if you look at the design for the hunters, it's exactly the same. So
it might be. It
the
might
top
be,
part of Godzilla
looks dope, right?
Godzilla's head is split into 2. So the top jaw is on the cloak and the bottom part of the jaw is on the helmet. So it's exactly the same. So you'd end up with exactly the same argument.
Okay.
Here.
Well, let's say same argument. But the point is I was hoping the redeeming quality would be that I could at least take the helmet and wear the helmet on something else. That way at least I could have the Raptor helmet and wear another piece of armor. Yeah. Which would not be the case. Yeah. But if I had the Godzilla armor, I wouldn't care about that because I'd be rocking the whole Godzilla armor. And I wouldn't give a if it was attached. Or not attached, split.
See, the problem is, though, hunters don't identify with Godzilla. They identify as Blue the Raptor. That's where you went wrong in your reasoning.
Raptors aren't even... Raptors in real life had feathers.
Yep, chickens. Basic chickens.
They had feathers. Not only does this not have any feathers, but the feathers that should have gone to the hunter armor, and don't get me wrong, that's already hideous. That would have made it worse. But the feathers that we should have gotten were Triceratops around his collar. What?
So what you're saying is the class that builds their identity around a chicken is sad about being a chicken.
If it was a chicken, I don't know. If it was a legit chicken, that might have been cool.
Think of the kernel.
Right? Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That might have been cool.
It'd be better.
If they designed it to look like a chicken, that might have been hilarious on its own, right? But this armor was designed to be badass looking, and it did not fulfill that role.
I'd argue that no Destiny armor is just designed to be badass. It's all designed to look absurd. Although maybe that's just my inner Titan speaking. When all of our armor looks stupid.
I will give Titans credit where it is due, and your armor won Best Armor of the Year for not even Halloween.
Titan.
For the first time in 7 years.
That's the coolest armor I have ever seen in this game, and that's including the Godzilla. The Godzilla was dope, right? Don't get me wrong. But freaking Tyrannosaurus Rex, how do you top that? Like,
you wait 7 years to get a good armor piece and then you retire.
Hands down with your Tyrannosaurus, dude. I am super jealous. I am this close to going and spending silver to buy the Dino armor for my Titan for the rare instances that I have to play her for a raid or something.
He doesn't have any bright dust. You know the man has no bright dust.
I actually blew all my bright dust on the werewolf hunter armor, but the
man doesn't have like 30,000 bright dust laying around.
No, I had 12. 30? Who the hell's got I don't even want to know.
I had 40 going into this.
I'm down to like 23 or something after the 6,000. Again, I haven't bought anything else because it's all garbage.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I even had to call my buddy. I was like, dude, why don't you get your Dino armor? Because he's a Titan main. He goes, that's out? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'll take a look at it. And he jumps on and he goes, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm like, right? One time I've been jealous of Titans.
But the only problem is with this whole event is that you have to wear the mask, so you can't wear your Dino armor until after the event's finished.
After the event, you still have really
but I want to rock it
now.
I want to rock the stuff now, but I have to wear the mask to get the candy, to get the things.
What's a golden goose that'll lay gold eggs for Easter?
Fair enough. But in the chat the other day, right? So Nitedemon was. Oh god, he was spurring the conversation on because he and I from day one have been team monster.
Oh yeah,
right. So when my hunters jumped in the chat talking about, oh my god, this armor is not as good as I thought it would be, and this and that and the other, I was like, oh no, you don't get to deflect this. You chose this Dino armor, despite me telling you multiple times over the course of months it's going to be, and you still voted for it. Sir, you go out, you buy that ugly ass armor, and you wear that as a badge of shame. You did this to us. You could have been Godzilla. You chose to be a cheap bargain basement freaking Halloween costume that you get for a 5-year-old on Halloween. All right? You wanted your scales painted on? You got it. You wanted styrofoam abs? You got it. Wear it. For the rest of the season, you're going to be an ugly ass raptor. Boom.
Bungie, if we could make these hunters all required to wear the armor to live with
all the ones that voted for it, I'm not going to wear that.
No. We're lumping all your people together because you're clearly just one group that feels the same way.
No,
you all have to wear the same armor.
Their leader. I tried to lead them down the path of righteousness, and they chose. That is their choice. I will not suffer for their bad decisions.
You know I can't put any of that in the podcast.
Right.
Damn it. Well, the live people heard it. Who cares?
Oh, God. I apologize.
Leave it in, but just bleep it all out. Just put chickens and ducks and whatnot there.
But what happens if, we promote this as a nice family-friendly podcast and you go, oh, catch my stream on such and such and such and such. I stream live on such and such.
No, don't
like, do 2 different things.
And children's...
2 different things.
Children's...
different things.
Yeah. On a recent trip, I learned that one of my young nephews listens to our and is a huge Destiny fan. And Respawn, you'd be pleased. Hunter, huge fan of Cade, huge fan of the Colonel.
Oh, there you go.
But must keep show clean, or people will have to stop listening, and that's sad because we want all the people to listen all the time.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, man. I'm very upset that they had the nerve to vote for the Dino and then complain about. Nope.
So
no,
not necessarily a rant at Bungie here, but more of a rant at your followers for not following suit.
Yes. How dare you?
So it's almost like the hunters who play the class that are, loners and don't take from anybody didn't get it together to work as a team. I'm shocked.
No, they worked as a team. I just voted for Dino. You voted for the wrong team.
And our third and final Respawn rant of the day is, drum roll please.
Back.
Sorry, are you Respawn ranted out now? The Vex.
No,
yes.
it's just, well, I mean, my voice is going out if you can't tell, but like, I'm still not quite over the sickness that I've had for 4 months now. But yeah, so okay, I don't know if it's Rant. I'm upset, right?
He's just disappointed at his inability to earn a weapon.
I've had 30 runs, Bungie, and I looked into it without bad luck protection, because when I looked it up, I got answers on both sides of the aisle. Yes, it's implemented. No, it's not implemented for this raid. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Whatever. So let's play both sides.
Personally.
If it is not implemented for this raid, the drop rate for Vex is 1.5% chance per run. I don't think you heard me. 1.5% chance to drop. And so many people have it, right? How, with such a low drop rate, does so many people have it?
I did my first vault of glass last night and it dropped for me.
Oh, I hate you so much. 1.5 without bad luck protection. With bad luck protection, 10%. That is the maximum you can get. You get maximum of 10% drop rate for the Vex per run. I have done 30 runs. I am at the very least, if it's instilled, at that 10%. I've done runs with my clanmates who are now getting their third and fourth.
3,000 whoop-whoos later.
But I still don't have a Vex. And the whole point of this is not to say that Bungie exotic drop rates is because when I searched for that is a rabbit hole you don't want to go under. Because up towards a week ago, everybody's complaining about the horrendous exotic drop rates in the Vault of Glass, right? Which again doesn't make any sense to me.
Which is not
because
part of your
that bad. How do so many people have it, right?
Because they are
but
1%.
Here's the crux. Here's the
rant.
Yeah, no. That was the rant. This is just disappointment because Bungie. How are you gonna say that it's so bad in the Crucible that it's already getting a nerf, and then you got guys like me that have run the damn thing 30 times, and not only have I never held the Vex, I've never seen the Vex, I've never shot the Vex, and now, even if I get the Vex, it's going to be either A, right before you guys nerf it, so I don't get to experience the joys of the Vex being the Vex before it gets nerfed. And it's just, why? Don't nerf it yet. Give me one, right?
Don't nerf it until he gets it.
But I have streams, okay? Because I looked
he wants the streamer privileges.
Every single streamer has
streamer
one.
Privileges here.
Right? Can I get some streamer loot? I've run it 30 times.
Respawn, you forgot we're not streamers, nor you.
No, we're not. That's what I just said. We're not streamers, but I have a stream, and I'm wondering, like, is there a minimum requirement? Do I need to have like 1,000 followers?
Did you go into your settings and toggle on the streamer loot drop option in Twitch? I mean, we shall be able to know because Twitch leaked everyone's information to the world because security is garbage. So I mean, we should be able to check it out for you.
Right, but it's the whole thing. Like, what do I need to do to get this Vex, Bungie? Because obviously running the raid is not how you get it, right? So I mean, if you're running the raid to get a raid drop, you're just dumb because that's obviously not how you get it. So what's the secret, Bungie? What do I have to do? Because it's not just limited to the Vex. Since D1, I'd never got a raid drop in D1 at all. Period. Flat out. The whole time, never got a single raid drop. D2, finally got a team together. Finally was able to do raids on the norm. And still takes me an average of 37 runs to get a drop. 37. That is that.
2 more weeks, it's yours.
My headphones went out. Stand by.
So Arf,
there we go.
What is the secret? Tell him what the secret is. Stop keeping it from him. Tell him your secret. Is it being Scottish?
Well, the secret is I haven't actually got it. I was just trying to bait him some more.
Right? Well, my headphones went out, so I didn't hear what you said, so bait failed. Yeah, so like, what do I need to do to get this? I have the chat saying I need to go out, find somebody that's got it, kill them, and take it, which I totally... Yo, let that be in the game, right? Hey, if you go into PvP and you 1v1 some guy that's got a Vex and you beat him, you get his Vex. Let's do this.
I don't think that's how it works.
Right? I am all about taking somebody's Vex at this point because it's ridiculous, right? In the season of the fusion rifle, where the Vex shoots up your fusion rifle damage in a matter of seconds, right? For PvE, PvP, PV, all, right? Just let me have it before the nerf. And I don't mean like the Gallahorn. In D1, I didn't get the Gallahorn until Xur sold it literally 1 week before you nerfed it. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to get the Vex for a week and then it get nerfed. I especially don't want to get the Vex a week after it's nerfed, right? Give it to me now, right? What Tuesday?
Well, it sounds
Tuesday?
like you're just never going to have it.
Bungie, listen, Bungie, hear me out. Tuesday, reset day, is the 19th of October, okay? 2021.
No, you're going about this all wrong.
Go into no one respawns account. Just, I'm not telling you to fiddle with my RNG for every raid because I know I'm always going to have bad luck in raids. I get that. I've accepted this. But for this one particular raid, for this one season, can you just give me a nudge in the right direction? Can I have the Vex? Right? I've played your game since day one. For 8-9 years, I've played your game since day one. Can I get some love? Right? And you could even take away my good luck from dungeons, right? Because people complain that you have good luck in dungeons, you always get good exotics from, not the dungeons, the lost sectors, legendary lost sectors. Take my luck from the legendary lost sector drops and just apply it to my raid. Just for one time, right? Or permanently. I don't even care. Take away my freaking, my good luck inside these legendary lost sectors and put it in raids from this point forward. I'm happy with that trade-off, right? Please. But this is getting ridiculous.
And Bungie says, sorry, not transferable.
Probably.
What Bungie's going to say is, what we heard was take away my good luck from the game entirely, and you will never see another exotic again. Because let's be honest here, has this ever worked out in any
that's
story
probably
throughout
how
history?
it would go too. I mean, all jokes aside, that's just, oh, you want us to take away your luck? No.
No.
I want you to take it and put it in. You want us to take it away? No, just damn it.
What we heard was
transfer my luck. Not take it away. I need you to transfer my luck from this game type to this game type. That's what I need you to do that for me, Bungie. I need this in my life. All right. I need the Vex. I need raid exotics in general from this point forward, right? I especially need the Vex. Come on, help me out. Yeah. Anyway. So not Hazel, Scratch says they said they weren't going to nerf it into the ground, but it will be tuned, which is lingo for just passable as a viable meme. But every time they say tuned, they mean nerf.
I mean, isn't that what Vex was in D1 too? Like it was fun and it shot super fast, but it wasn't super good at PvP or anything else because it was super unstable. Am I misremembering that?
No, you're right. Well, no, it was good for everything initially, and then it got nerfed, like everything does in Destiny. And then after that, it became kind of crap for everything, PvP and PvP. Yeah. But when the Vex first came out, it was really, really good, for both aspects. And then it got nerfed, as Bungie do.
So welcome to the show this week. We started strong this week. We started with a rant, or two, or three actually. Yeah. Welcome, Arf. You've joined us not even at the start of the show. Basically, we went straight into ranting, and for an hour and a half, we've had a rant. So
I think that's been a good show. I think we should just wrap it up and.
Has it been an hour and a half? Oh my god!
Let's do the lore.
I told you I was going to be crazy this week, man. I was heated. I was very heated.
Yes, an hour and a half.
I didn't want to stop you. You'd even done research time in 140 episodes. So, I mean, I couldn't stop you midway.
Yeah. No. And then I took the time to separate the lore you guys sent me into the different characters, and I'm like, wow, it's literally 2 characters in both lores you sent me. That's gonna be exciting. Woo!
So yeah, we might as well do the show backwards this week. We might as well do some not half-assed lore as well.
Arf.
Yes.
Arf, arf, arf.
I know you're Scottish. I get that. You put it. But can you do...
And Demon, that wasn't a dress.
It's a dress.
That is my clan kilt.
Yeah, okay. So I put on here as Crow speaks slowly with an English accent, and I don't want to do an English accent. So can somebody be Crow?
Only we had.
Yeah, Peroty, your Crow.
If only we had somebody with an English accent.
Right?
Sorry, there's nobody around here with an English accent.
Well, I mean,
no one at all.
I don't want Demon to do it. Like I said, if y'all are gonna bring me out of my comfort zone, I don't want to make it easy for somebody else. Arf is Scottish, he said. So
we got some amazing feedback for your Mithrax voice.
Yeah.
Almost crashing my van off the road. I feel like it is the highest feedback you could get. I mean, if we're not causing traffic accidents, what are we even doing here?
No, and I don't want to put people in danger, man. I don't want people to go driving off the road.
They know what they got into.
By the way, this is for all you guys listening too. The lore is going to have spoilers. It would not even let me read the lore until I acknowledged the spoiler alert. So you have been forewarned that the 2 lores I'm going to be reading contain spoilers. Do with that knowledge what you will. But they're spoilers.
And Nitedemon will drop in the spoiler horn.
Right?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is the lore tab from the Jurassic Green Pulse Rifle.
Forward to the Book of the Forgotten. Sol is filled with monsters, more than I imagine could possibly exist in one system. So far, the list includes alien robots that bend time, blot out the sun, and drive people. Floating witches that birth squirming hordes of cannibals, all driven to murder by parasitic worms. Armored walrus people who conquer planets and subjugate whole races. Undead mobs of rotting alien corpses animated by dark ether. Clans of interstellar insects trying to steal a small planetoid for its energy signature. And most recently, ominous triangular ships of unknown origin that send spooky telepathic messages. But in my opinion, the most bizarre monsters in all of Sol are a gang of heavily armed zombies, made eternal by pint-sized cybernetic constructs, some of whom are lovers of folktales. Sol may be strange and a crowded place, but the next time someone tells you of a bizarre new monster like a shadowy clique of pumpkin-headed phantoms, think twice before you dismiss them. That monster may in fact be your new neighbor. Happy Festival of the Lost!
Glint, the smallest monster.
Alright, the next one is... The line between myth and reality disappears when the myths start shooting back.
Hang on.
Glint
this lore tab is from the... Shut up a minute.
Middle corridor.
Am I muted?
Wait.
With Idol's banner.
Stop!
They were directed to a room aboard Cabal.
He's probably muted us and not his chat.
Furnished for guests.
Somebody in his
When the
chat.
door closed, they were finally alone again.
Please tell him to stop.
Expectantly for Crow's usual candy.
Hang on.
But there was none. So,
Respawn.
Glint finally ventured.
Stop.
How's it going? Crow hoisted himself into a massive Cabal-sized chair and regarded
we try,
Glint
people. We
from the
really
corner of his
try.
eye. You know what? You guys are right. I think Peroty should be there. Peroty, are you watching? Do I need to send this to you? Or
Oh my god.
do y'all want me to do all the voices?
We can just talk. Respawn, I think you should wear a tutu and dance on stream for everybody. I think that's really what they would appreciate most.
You should just make the show.
Don't you agree? I think he agrees, right?
Yeah, he
they're
agrees.
telling you to stop talking, unmute us. Boy, unmute them. Unmute them. They're not muted.
So that's what, like a 30
Oh,
second
their headphones went
delay?
out.
That's about a minute delay.
Headphones have gone out.
If only there was like a cord you could plug in to like make the headphones not have a battery, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. No, okay.
So, Aft, just tell us about that previous lore, about the Lincoln Green or the Jurassic Green as it is now.
That is a great summary of the Destiny world with all the races in it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all it is. It is just literally a foreword of what's going to happen in the books, basically. Now, we've got the 3 books to come, but unfortunately, with Bungie holding the information back in the API from the third parties, we can't actually see that yet.
Okay.
Now, Respawn has now muted his mic, so I'm wondering if he's actually ready, or does he want me to read it?
Well, let me unmute him and let's see.
That is server muted, not me. See? Thank you.
Yeah. No, we server muted you while you got your audio. And now we've unserver muted you.
So, yeah, Arf was introducing the next piece of lore, and you just carried on rambling and couldn't hear us.
Yeah, I didn't hear you. My wireless headphones just went out. I was just like, thank God chat said something, because as soon as I finished reading, I looked at the chat, and they're all like, "Oh, loud noises." Oh, snap.
Right, this is the Sparrow, the Headless Horsepower, which actually looks kind of cool with the big spider on the front. This now, make no mistake, this isn't the one with all the legs that when I get in game, I am actually going to buy from Eververse because that looks amazing.
Yeah, wait until next week.
Oh, is it available for Bright Dust?
Next week. But we'll go over that
I've got
later.
lots of Bright Dust for a change. The line between myth and reality disappears when the myth starts shooting back. Glint. Glint compiled as Crow made his way down to an enormous metal corridor festooned with Keitel's banners. They were directed to a room aboard the Cabal flagship, a simple space furnished for guests. When the door closed and they were finally alone again, Glint waited expectantly for Crow's unusual candor, but there was none.
So, Glint finally ventured. How's it going?
Crow hoisted himself into a massive Cabal-sized chair and regarded Glint from the corner of his eyes. A little eye-opening. Maybe even frustrating or infuriating. It's like being in a room of Saladins. Glint hovered hesitantly in front of Crow's face.
Are you nervous about meeting Keitel? You don't need to be.
Why are you being weird? Crow asked with a hint of annoyance.
It's just that you don't really need me here. This is a Cabal battleship. The only thing that could hurt you here is the food.
Crow snorted. It's not so dangerous once you learn to sneak up on it. He paused to consider Glint's position. You're right, though. Keitel won't let anything happen to me. It would be a diplomatic incident.
So, I was thinking,
Glint continued,
that as long as you're safe, I could take some time to do a little research for my collection of tall tales and legends.
You mean your stories about the cult of pumpkin men?
They're called the Headless Ones,
Glint chirped back. And then, with increasing urgency,
there have been credible reports for centuries from all over Sol tailing very similar phenomena, without any clear cause or link.
Crow held up his hand. The Headless Ones, he said abruptly, cutting into Glint's analysis. Glint backed away and slightly nodded. You're not going alone, are you? Crow asked.
No. The Guardian said they'll go with me.
Crow contemplated for what felt like a long time to both of them, but when he finally spoke, his voice was small and low. Just promise me one thing.
Anything.
When the shooting starts, remember to keep your head. Glint's groan echoed through the halls of the battleship. It was a groan of adventure. So that actually gives you the excuse why you're working with Glint and why he's left Crow.
Okay.
And so Crow hasn't kicked him out or anything. It's a completely agreed on adventure that Glint wants to do.
So he gives us an overview with the Jurassic Green lore, and then with this Sparrow lore, it's kind of just an intro to actually what is happening in the story.
That's right.
Okay.
So Glint is on the hunt for the Headless Ones, which I presume are the pumpkin-headed things you see in the Haunted Lost Sectors.
Yeah. But then, where have these Headless Ones been for like the last 3 or 4 years? Because we haven't had these Haunted Lost Sectors to explore before.
They were hiding in the Haunted Forest.
Ah, okay. Thanks for that.
I've got no idea. I'm just guessing at that.
They finally let them out.
Yeah, but Bungie did put out some lore about the Headless Ones. Basically, I think the short version is like Nokris had ripped this vision of pumpkins from the heads of Guardian, from like the minds of Guardians, and then was like, "Oh, this is a thing, and it's scary. Sure, we'll stick these pumpkins on headless ones, and yeah, it'll all be good." That's a gross simplification of it, but they did actually like make some actual lore around why there are giant headless pumpkins in these
hear
lost
something
sectors.
in game. There's been a lot of kind of hints to it in game from what Glint's been saying.
Yeah, I think Paul Tassi had written an article, and that's where I saw it first about the pumpkin-headed lore.
Yeah, I haven't actually read that yet.
He's one of the few people who writes actual words, so I can know a thing exists to then go find it without having to watch about, all the ways I should shave myself or drink supplements in order to get what I'm trying to get to.
Yes. Let me make my own mistakes.
What do you mean? I like advanced GG.
Use code Nitedemon for piles of disappointment.
Yep.
And code Hunter Master Rager for extra ranting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, people asked for the rants. They got the rants in triplicate this week, so
they did. It's been a while, so I had to give it to them.
You did.
I did. There you go. For everybody that's been requesting it, it was a little much, I'll admit, but.
So next week we should have some of the new lore that's been dropping. So it give people a chance to kind of do some of the haunted lost sectors and get some of these pages that are available.
Yes. Now, do we have any questions or feedback regarding the lore that need answering? There was a couple. Now, there was a couple in the Discord. Now, I'm still researching them because that's not as easy as
yes and no,
as what it seems, because I have to actually go back through the entire Books of Sorrow to answer one.
So this will be on the test, is what you're saying?
Yes. So, any questions or feedback? No,
not that I've seen.
Any questions or feedback? Okay. Since I want to avoid the one that I've already been given.
No, I'm not. I'm not avoiding it. I just want to answer it accurately.
Yeah.
Well, I was prepared to ask you about what you thought about the headless, the headless one's lore, but since we don't know, we'll have to hold on that one too.
I've not read it myself. I've been trying to get my hands on it, but I've not succeeded yet. But from what I can tell, they're all being quite well received.
I just stuck in the show notes the Paul Tassi's article about it that has snippets of the lore, but not the full lore. Because again, like has been said, you can't access the full things except for in game. So he has some screenshots from it, but not like the full lore from all of it yet. So
yeah, this is why I like using sites like Ishtar Collective, because you can actually sit there and actually get a full story from the sections you're looking at, not gradually collecting it through games. I can actually sit there and read a whole lore book and actually get the full story together, and it makes more sense to me rather than getting it piecemeal.
Yep, through screenshot here and screenshot there. Yep, no, I get it. No, I just thought it was neat that they had lore for it, because I feel does Chad have its own lore? The big giant, knight from before who was unkillable, who would haunt you through all the haunted forest. Did he ever get lore, or was it just like, he's a knight, it's spooky, deal with it? So I appreciate they actually, gave us some lore around it.
His name is Chad. He likes hitting people with his axe.
Mm-hmm.
That he do.
He has a good sense of humor and is looking for a like-minded individual.
I disagree with the sense of humor part. The whole being invincible kind of gets rid of that.
Well, he seems to think it's hilarious to absolutely scare the bejesus out of me every time he appears behind me.
Oh, that.
Yeah, no, he has the best sense of humor. He's like, watch what we're about to do to this guy. Just like, show up behind them and knock them off the map into oblivion. Never gets old.
You got knocked off the map. He just straight up crushed me. There was no getting knocked off the map. There was just death.
Same idea.
The amount of times I physically jumped when he's appeared, you turn around, he's just stood behind you. It's like, oh, come on! There must be other people that have done that.
Oh no! Then you just stand there like for a minute. It's almost like he needs you to see him before he kills you. He's like, I could just kill you, but no, it's more funny if you see me first.
He needs acknowledgement.
Yeah. He just needs to know he's doing a job. He hasn't got a performance review in thousands of years.
Thousands of
He needs to still know he's big and scary.
That's terrifying. That he is. I'll tell him to his. I don't want to tell him to his face because we know what happens. I'd rather be in a really, really high place to scream down at him. Yes, sir. You're very,
I think the scream and the big pile of doo-doo behind you actually gave that away.
Right? Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Right. I kind of wish they'd have had something like that again. Right. I think the Lost Sectors is just. It's
That's
just
not so much the Lost Sectors, but it's just Chad was an icon.
Yeah.
You went in every year. No, like, where is he? I'm looking for him. I know he's here, and he's going to appear at some point. But where is he?
Mm-hmm. Have they made some changes? I appreciate the Lost Sectors just being a selectable playlist and not having to go to the Lost Sectors on all these planets to load in that way. So I appreciate just the quality of life to be like, it's a playlist. Just go into it. We'll throw you into one. It'll be fun. But yeah, I miss Chad. The headless ones are fun, but they aren't Chad.
It would have been nice to have a Chad every now and then, just kind of sneak up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that definitely would have made things way more exciting if you had Chad running around trying to get you while you're trying to kill these headless and whatnot.
If he could have been the end
maybe
boss,
he'll just randomly appear behind you as in like a hard mode.
There we go. The last week, all the end bosses are just Chads. Maybe you can defeat them. Maybe you can't.
I haven't yet.
He's got a flawless record so far.
Somebody in the chat's like, how would you like it if instead of a sword, Chad's axe became an exotic heavy?
Oh, that would be amazing. There'd be so many people swinging that.
Right?
I have it as a super already. It's pretty good.
You have a hammer as a super.
Close enough. Hammer, axe. It's all the same thing when you smash it into someone's face.
One's a heavy, blunt object. The other one will slice somebody down their middle section. Yeah, you know what? It is just the same thing.
But and that a lot of axes do have a heavy, blunt edge on the other side.
On the other side.
The effect is the same.
No, but Chad's is a double-bladed axe, though. Chad's is double-bladed, man. He's got a battle axe.
So you have to squish him with the soft side then.
The flat side? Just pancake his ass? Just turn it sideways, splat.
Okay, here's okay. So the light attack is you actually swing the axe around to hack away at their ankles so they fall over, and then the heavy attack is you smash them with the flat side to flatten them, and then you can pick up their squished body and use it as a melee weapon like a frisbee.
You've got issues that I can't help you with, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that would be the finisher, the frisbee.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
You splat them with the axe and then frisbee them away as a finisher.
Wow. Y'all got issues.
No, that'd be hilarious. That'd be great.
Yeah, no,
As long as it wasn't a one hit, it'd be fine.
Right, at that point, I'm going.
Thank you very much for stopping by, Arf, and dropping.
That's not a problem. Excellent. Right, I'll see you next week.
We will hopefully see you next week. Yeah.
Bye, man.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Go away. Scram.
So, Night Demon, want to tell us what we can buy next week?
I do. I just want to finish. I've just finished my Gambit game because I thought,
yeah,
I might as well do something while I'm here.
No, you could have done a whole raid in that amount of time.
Yeah. I'm at on my second run through. I'm at Fable 2 now of this week. So because I didn't realise that I couldn't get the Ascendancy, whatever it is, the
rocket launcher
ornament. No, I've got the Ascendancy.
The ornament from Gambit itself.
Oh, yeah. They don't tell you that. You can get the Ascendancy from the first run through of something. It's like, oh yeah, that's brilliant. So I did the first run through in Crucible. I got it when Iron Banner was around, and then I did enough Iron Banner to get the ornament for it. I thought, oh, that'd be brilliant. This week I thought, I'll go off and do my Gambit because it's whatever it is times 2 for Gambit. I thought, I'll get that done. Get the Ascendancy ornament for it. Oh no. It'll give you the Ascendancy again. Then you have to reset your rank and go back through again. So they tricked me. And I'm guessing it's probably the same for Strikes. And it
absolutely is. I've got the Ascendancy already.
But Strikes I don't really mind because I do Nightfalls quite regularly every now and then.
No, dude. So I started with Strikes and doing nothing but strikes and nightfalls to get even more experience with the bounties, it still took me 3 days.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Strikes are the worst way to get it. You were right getting it with the Crucible. That was the fastest way to go, but strikes take forever to get it.
I don't see how people can still play strikes at all. I look at that and I go, you want me to do 3 of these? Why?
Yeah. No,
I mean, I do it. It's a pinnacle when I have time to do it in a week, but it is absolutely like the last thing I do. I'm like, I'll do it, but I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
The Iron Axe from the Rise of Iron. I don't know. I think Chad's axe is better. Got a big old double-bladed battle axe.
You know, let me bring up all my pages of stuff.
So, you two, while he's looking that up, I have eye candy on the thing now. I find this whole time, my idiot self thought that, my alerts were working. I'm working on it. So this whole time I've been streaming, I thought my alerts were working, but I just couldn't see them on my side, right? Turns out, no, my alerts were not working. So now, finally, whenever somebody, follows or joins or subs or whatever, now all my Kate stuff is working. So I have the images, I have the voice lines, I have all that stuff working now. So I've got new eye candy for the stream.
Okay.
And I'm excited about it.
Oh.
And I want everyone
to yell at people when they smash that like button.
I don't have to. Kate does it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
He's got to do something these days.
So next week in Destiny, Fest of the Lost continues. We have to hunt our headless, whatever they are.
The headless ones.
Headless ones, yeah. Just hunt the headless ones.
Once.
Yeah, just once. Or 10, or 12. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you can only hunt 10 of them at a time. And then when the end boss comes up, make sure that you go and kind of stand. If one of you's standing in one of the circles to bring up another headless one, you go and stand in the other one. So that gives you extra pages. So you can get up to, I think it's about 14 or 15 pages, depending on how many of the headless ones that you actually summon. So you could potentially get 15 pages each run if you're running with a competent crew. So that's what I've been doing. If somebody is on one of the spawn points, I will run to another one, spawn another headless one. As long as you get one shot on that headless one, it counts so that when the pages are decrypted. If not, if they kill it before you can get one shot on it, it doesn't count for you. And I found that out the hard way. So
speaking of which, somebody lied to us earlier, and I want to point this out. They said you can only hold a maximum of 13 of the higher tier pages, whatever they're called, right? And I was going by that number, and I had 9, and I was purposely trying to only get the 13, so I didn't waste other ones, right? So I didn't want to transform pages only for them to disappear.
Yeah.
And my team ended up getting 9. So at the end of this, I had 18 of the Ascendant pages. I don't know what the cap is.
I can tell you what the cap is. I can tell you the cap is 75 you can hold. So that's the green ones, which are the, I think it's the Ascendants.
The higher tier ones.
The manifested pages.
The manifested.
Yeah. The spectral pages are the ones you get first, and then the manifested pages are after you run the haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can only get 75 of the green ones, so it'll be 75 of the normal ones?
Yes.
Because you can't get any more than what you've actually got, yeah?
So you're saying that
75 is a cap for both, is what he's saying.
Oh, really?
I think it's 75 for both.
I was panicking for nothing, because after every run, I was turning them in, so I didn't lose any.
No.
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, no. It's way more else. It's definitely way more than 13. Because I was sitting at 20 or 30 the other day, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep doing this and see how many I can accrue. I didn't get to 75. But
yeah, nice.
Good to know.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't get that high, but higher than 13.
Indeed.
Yeah, again, it's one of the things. It's like it would be nice to know these things, because that's the question everybody has. It's like, okay, once you've worked out what's the gameplay loop of, okay, go earn this thing, go take it here, do this with it, but then how many of those can I hold? At what point? Because Bungie is famous for, you can play this so many times, but you can only hold 6 of these, so better reset after 6, or whatever the number is. So it would have been nice to say, hey, you can hold lots of these and just play the game. That's it.
So I was just going to basically explain that beginning part of the quest for the Festival of the Lost. So initially you go to Eva and she says, go off and do this, go off and do that, and you get to a point in the quest where it says decrypt some pages. Now, if at that point you don't have space in your inventory and you go off and do say the Haunted Lost Sectors, it won't drop you any pages. Or if you go off and do like a public event, to just get a couple of pages to drop, because I think it says just get 2 pages, and I think a heroic public event can be between 2 and 3, and I still think that's the case at the moment, because there has been a nerf on some of the ways that you can acquire these pages. So I was following the quest, and it took me a very long time to realise that I wasn't progressing in this quest, because I'd run out of space in my inventory, ended up putting stuff in the vault because I didn't have these pages dropping. When I did a public event, got a couple of pages to drop, and then was able to go and do a Haunted Lost Sector to get them converted. Once they were converted, I was then stuck. I was like looking at my like lore tab. I was looking at the quest tab. I was looking everywhere than where I should have been, because Eva said, once you've decrypted these, you want to put these into the lore book. And I'm like, okay, I'll have a look at my lore tabs and my quest tabs. Couldn't find this lore book. It's actually a physical thing in game that's standing next to Eva, and it took me about 10 minutes to find it. With that, I mean, I didn't go online and look for it, say somebody to look for it, but
it literally lit up on my screen like, "Hey, come here!" It's like, "Oh, hey, what's this?"
But no, I was in my inventory when that popped. I was like in my inventory, and I was thinking, oh, okay, it'll be in here somewhere, because that's normally where the lore pages are. It's not normally a physical thing. So I thought that was quite funny. Yeah, it's literally a book on a plinth next to her that you have to kind of go and
fancy words. Say that again. Spell it.
No.
Plinth. No, I want to hear it. Plinth.
Plinth. Yeah.
I like it. I didn't even know that was. I just thought it was a book stand. Apparently, there's a word for it, and we're all smarter for it. It's called a plinth. If he's to be believed, he might be lying to us all.
I could be lying to you all.
Yeah, right.
So, also next week we have the Ruins of the Wraith returning to the Shattered Realm, so there'll be a legendary version of that, like we've had with the legendary version this week. You can eliminate the Fallen in the Exodus Crash Nightfall. Oh my god, this is going to be one horrible Grandmaster. It was horrible as just a normal legendary, but remember, I think
Exodus Crash has that cheese spot though.
Unless it has a cheese spot, which I will find from our previous show notes, and I will put that back in our links in our show notes for this week. So there is another way of kind of getting up into the rafters to be out of the way of being killed, because Respawn can attest with who did you do it with? Nulzy?
Yeah, I did it with
Nulzy, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
They were having a really hard time doing it on the legendary difficulty, and I said, "Yeah, look, there's this cheese
spot."
No,
we weren't. We were doing just absolutely fine.
You lie. Respawn had fun for a good hour and then relied on the video that I sent him. So it's worth looking at. So if you are having issues, I will link that in the show notes. And then Trials Labs.
The video just helps, man. You don't
Trials Labs Peroty is returning next week with freelance.
That's what I hear.
Will be available along with bonus trials rewards again. So
I'm very excited to try that. 1, because I missed the first one, and 2, because Bannerfall was not nice to me this week. So I'll be very curious to go in as an actual solo person with other solo people, and probably still get destroyed. But yeah, we can try.
The big question is here: is there going to be one specific node for stack teams, or do you have to go in as a solo player? That's the question. Is it going to be like Iron Banner, where you have the 2 different selections that you can select?
Because when they do,
either go by yourself.
Or you're probably answering this question.
Yeah, when they did it last time with the Trials Labs with the capture the flags, it was just everybody in the same matchmaking pool. So it was solos and duos and trios. But because this is a specific playlist for solo players, I don't think they're going to force like people like Frostbolt and Fallout and everybody that likes to go in as a stack team just to see what it's like for that week to go in solo. It's forcing people to go solo. I'm not sure if it's going to work. It could work, but maybe as a separate node it would work like we have with Iron Banner. But we'll see. We'll have to wait until next Friday to find out.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be set up sort of like the freelance, like you were saying for Iron Banner, where they've got freelance one, and that's how it'll work. But who knows?
Yeah, so you can either choose to go into the one if you are freelance, or you can still do freelance in the OG trials as it is at the moment, like this week. So yeah, that's what's happening next week in Destiny.
Very good.
So we also have week 9 of our seasonal challenges for next week, and it looks like this is the final week of our challenges. There hasn't been anything added to the database just yet. So we have Astral Alignment. Defeat combatants with auto rifles, melee attacks. Defeating combatants in the Astral Alignment activity grants bonus progress, and it's 300 auto rifles and 150 melees. Legendary Leyliner. Complete the Astral Alignment activity at Legendary difficulty. So that is something that's coming next week, which I believe they talk about in the TWAB that we will go over. And for both of those, you get Challenge XP and Wayfinder Compass Calibration. But for the Legendary version, you get Challenge XP++. Another reason to go into trials next week, we have Trial by Firing Squad. And it's 20 round wins, and that will give you Challenge XP++, and a Trials of Osiris weapon, and some Bright Dust. Elemental Gambit, which is complete Gambit matches with each elemental subclass. That can be Arc, 2 games, Void, 2 games, or Solar or Stasis, 2 games. And that's Challenge XP++ and some Bright Dust.
I was about to be real mad that did that after the week of enhanced, Gambit rank, but 2 games are fine. That's an acceptable number, Bungie. I was afraid it would be like 10 or 15 or something absurd. But
that's 2 characters, 3 games each on different subclasses, and you get a pinnacle at the end of it. Okay, that's fine. I can handle that.
Yep.
Armory-wide calibration. Calibrate kinetic, energy, and power weapons. Bonus progress against champions. So it's 200 kinetic weapons, 200 energy weapons, and 200 power weapons. And that's Challenge XP+++ and some Bright Dust. And then finally, elemental splicing. Complete strikes as each elemental subclass. Again, Arc 2, Void 2, and Solar or Stasis 2. And that's Challenge XP++, some Bright Dust, and a shader. Plated Lupinus. Yep, that'll do. That's what we call it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do my strikes, Bungie, if I have to.
And don't forget, we've got like another 3, 4, 5 months to knock these all out. So no rush.
Yep. Just until February. That's it. The end of February.
Yeah. Now, something that my good friend Houndish pointed out in one of his videos this week. I say he's my good friend. I don't actually know the guy, but let's keep up.
You see him every day. You might as well be friends.
Keep up the illusion. So
every time he looks in the mirror,
he went over the Eververse calendar briefly over things that are only available for Silver and for Bright Dust. Now, it looks like this week the only thing that's going to be available for Silver across the whole 3 weeks is going to be the finisher that is available this week, which is called Ding. And I think it's the one where they throw the green ball at somebody, and it's a quick finisher. But it looks like the Silver that we've got this week, the Gourd Summoner and the Fetid Shell, are both going to be available in the next couple of weeks for Bright Dust. So next week we're going to have the Gourd Summoner available for Bright Dust. And the following week, we're going to have the Fetid Shell available for Bright Dust. So if you don't want to purchase them with Silver, the only thing if you want to get for Silver is the Ding finisher, whereas anything else should be available. So It's Showtime, which is a rare emote, will also be available, I think, next week, but we'll just check. So week 9, which is going to be the 19th of October, is going to be... For Silver, you're going to have the Strange Brew multiplayer emote, which is available this week for Bright Dust, but for next week for 1,200 Silver. The Cavalera Shell, the one that was featured last week in the TWAB, which has been specifically designed for the event, is going to be 800 Silver. And the following week, it's going to be available for Bright Dust. So if you don't want to purchase it with Silver, then wait for the following week. And then the speeder that's available for Bright Dust this week will be available for Silver next week for 800 Silver, and that's the Mad Machinery. And the Necromance Dance, which is a legendary emote, will be available for 500 Silver next week. Bright Dust for next week. We will have the Shaded Titan Mask available for 1,200 Bright Dust. The Skitter Scare, which is the sparrow that looks like a spider with all the legs. So if you want to get that,
thing is so creepy.
2,500 Bright Dust, not bad. We have the Talon Projection, which is the Ghost Projection for 1,500 Bright Dust. The Reanimated Vera, Shader, which is 300 Bright Dust. The Gourd Summoner, that's the exotic emote for 3,250 Bright Dust. It's Showtime, a rare emote for 400 Bright Dust. The Stonecraft Amalgam Shell, which was one of the ones back a couple of years ago, for 2,850 Bright Dust. The Necro Beast, which is the one with the skull of, I think it's a, it looks like an Ahamkara thing. I'm probably wrong, but it looks like that. 2,500 Bright Dust. And then we have the Desmondus, which is the ship. That's for 2,000 Bright Dust. We have the Jack-o'-lantern mask for 1,200 Bright Dust. And the Howling projection of the wolf, which is going to be 1,500 Bright Dust. And then the following week, available for silver only, is the Prankster Dance. So this is the one from Pennywise, from It, which was available 2 years ago, but I don't believe they sold it last year. So if you are kind of missing this one from your collection, it's going to be available for silver in week 10. So not next week, but the week after. The Lepidera, which is the ship that's available this week, I believe, for Bright Dust. So if you want to get that this week, because it's going to be available for silver in the last week. And then if you miss the Spider Speeder, then that's going to be available in the final week for some silver. And then everything else, the Calavera Shell, we've got the Halted Oblivion, which is the Witch's Broom with a frozen cat on it. That was available a couple of years back. That's going to be available in the following week. And then the Bat-Winged Entrance, which I was thinking about. You know, I saw this was available for 200 silver, but it's going to be available in the final week. Looks pretty cool. That's for 450 Bright Dust. But we'll cover that next week anyway. And then I suppose I better tell you about, you know, what the lost sectors are, because we normally cover that as well. So Monday the 18th will be the Bay of Drowning Wishes on the Dreaming City, and that'll give you your arms, and Abby Hour has a guide for that. Tuesday the 19th of October will be the Chambers of Starlight on the Dreaming City, and that'll give you your chests. We have a guide from PV Shifty for that one. Wednesday the 20th of October, it will be Aphelian's Rest on the Dreaming City, and that'll give you your helmets, and again PV Shifty's got you covered for that. Thursday the 21st of October will be the Empty Tank Tangled Shore Lost Sector, which will give you your legs, and PV Shifty's got a guide for that. Friday the 22nd of October will be the K1's Logistics on the Moon, will give you your arms, PV Shifty again. And Saturday the 23rd of October will be the K1 Communion on the Moon, and that'll give you your chests, and we have Time Sausage Gaming giving you a guide for that one. Sunday the 24th of October will be K1 Crew Quarters on the Moon, giving you your helmets, and that'll be Time Sausage Gaming once again. And then finally back around to Monday the 25th of October will be the K1 Revelations again on the Moon with your legs and PV Shifty. And if you don't like those, Legionless has guides as well, which I'll also link in the show notes.
Excellent.
That's all that stuff.
Guess I should think about getting some of those on my other characters at some point, but yeah, I don't use the ones I have on the Titan now, so.
Chat says you guys were overpowering me sound-wise, so can you guys like talk kind of with me to see if that's been adjusted?
What were we talking about?
Because they couldn't.
Just
well, I mean, yeah, I mean,
When?
because they just couldn't hear me at all whenever you guys were talking. So
That sounds like a you problem.
It is. That's why I'm asking you to help me out, since I've made some adjustments to make sure that that's no longer happening.
So we should talk over Respawn to see if
this all the time.
Not necessarily over, but like, you know, along with. Yeah.
So we're
you know,
talking along
like,
with.
Yeah. See, you know, we Titans suck, Hunters are the best. You know.
PTSD, yes, I understand. Yes, getting punched in the face is traumatizing. Mm-hmm.
So Peroty, we had an update 3.3.1 this week. I believe that we went over most of the stuff last week. Is there anything
did they pull?
They didn't put in
is that the one they pulled?
No, this is the one they did on October 12th.
Oh God, that was only this week.
Yeah.
I looked at the 12th and I was like, clearly that was last week. Clearly I've made it as further. Oh boy. Yeah, time is hard.
I don't think there was anything that you hadn't covered last week in the patch note previews.
They did mention they removed Anomaly, Dead Cliffs, and they removed Anomaly and Dead Cliffs maps from the Momentum Control Rotator, saying we're also looking at map offerings in all 6v6 playlists and are expecting some changes in future updates. So they're looking at, you know, maps, bringing those back in, removing them, reworking them as they said they were going to do.
What are we talking about? Is this the patch notes part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your trials passage will only display a warning message if the player already owns a ticket. They added a playlist tooltip to indicate crossplay must be enabled to access trials. And your currency rewards lock out at 3, 5, and 7 wins, no longer clear on ticket resets for trials. There's a bunch of UI and UX things, a handful of issues if you have the new Xbox consoles. Not.
Speaking of which, did you guys experience that everybody on your friends list is blocked thing? Because people reached out to me and I didn't know what was going on until after Nitedemon said something.
Nope. Was that a PC thing or a?
No, it was an Xbox thing.
An Xbox thing.
Oh, yeah, no.
It looks like they fixed an issue with all of that now. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, it looks like they fixed a bunch of that stuff. Yeah, no, handful of things here and there, but nothing terribly exciting.
Yeah, I think you did cover most of it, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't remember what else was in their preview. There were a couple more things they added, but earth-shattering from what I remember.
One thing they did highlight was that they'd identified an issue where the Demolitionist perk was no longer refilling ammo when casting a grenade. So they're looking to resolve that in the hotfix 3.3.1.1, which I believe was meant to go live this Friday, but then that's been cancelled due to an issue that they found. So I think that's the one that you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, there's one scheduled for this week later that they didn't end up doing, possibly because Telesto is now an armor piece. It's hard to say.
That's a terrifying thought. Oh my god. Actually, wouldn't that qualify the AC/DC feedback fence? Right? Somebody punches you and then they get punished for it, kind of thing?
Yeah, although at least you take damage that way. If you load up your friend with Telesto, as we've been doing since the beginning of the Telesto, they don't take damage. Period, full stop. It basically makes an all-enveloping Telesto shield over the person you cover in Telesto. So, yeah, they're just immortal at that point, which really is Telesto's final form. I get the feeling.
Well, the Telesto doesn't hurt them, but they can be killed by whoever they're running at, right?
No,
it actually, I don't know, because the clip I saw was just someone unload a full clip of the Vex into someone covered in Telesto, and they took 0 damage. Like 0.
Cheese Forever put out a video, I believe,
it just
literally 24 hours ago before they said
I saw the one with the Invincible Hunter with the thing, which I think has already been patched because I
it's not been
like 20 minutes trying to get that.
It's been removed.
Yeah, they did remove the Hunter piece as well.
Raiju's harness.
Yeah. Telesto's just off in Gambit, basically any PvP activity. So Gambit and PvP, Telesto's disabled. And they disabled the Raiju's harness entirely for similar reasons? Different reasons?
Similar.
Okay.
So when you said that, I assumed like when somebody was wearing Telesto and you tried to shoot them, you were shooting the Telesto bolts and they were detonating, but they were just straight invincible.
Yeah, you shoot the Telesto, the bolt, and the Telesto bolts say, "No, I'm sorry, this man is my friend. We have been down for life. You cannot harm him."
Yeah.
Oh my god, I wish I knew about this stuff.
It was like
before it gets nerfed, dude. That sounds hilarious.
Well, you've got to follow Cheese for this. If you are interested, I will link both videos from Cheese Forever to see what we're talking about. Basically, it was like wearing body armor, Telesto body armor. That's all that was. And the same with the Hunter. You know, there was a point that you could pop your super and get the forever. I think it was the Middle Tree Arc Strider.
Middle Tree Arc Strider. Yep.
Yeah, you get the continuous blade whirring around, even though you're not actually using it. But yeah,
jump on a sparrow, you're invincible. Shooting enemies, you're invincible. Using a sword, you're invincible. The only way they could kill you is if you got hit with splash damage or they shot you from behind. But as long as you were face on,
but they could do it in PvP as well.
Yeah.
So there's no sparrows in PvP, but Cheese has a couple of videos going over those if you're interested.
I mean, not yet. Give them a second, then we'll get some sparrows in PvP.
Yeah.
Well, technically, Sparrow Racing League was PvP.
That's not a real thing. We don't talk about that anymore.
Oh, we talk about it. It's a thing. It needs to be a thing again.
What we talk about is this week at Bungie for the 14th of October. And it officially being the spookiest time of the year.
Debatable.
And we've gone over the reasons why Respawn's upset for an hour and a half. Think about that. If you've missed that, because I'll definitely have to timestamp it. If you missed that, no, don't subject people to a rant if they don't want to listen to a rant. But if you want to listen to a rant, it's right at the beginning.
I think they should be subjected to it anyway.
Oh,
Is it really? I don't remember that. Carpo was saying in D1 there was actually PvP maps big enough that you could use your Sparrow.
Yes.
I don't remember that. Really?
Yes. First light.
No one remembers D1 for first off, so that's basically the Dark Age.
Yeah.
Wow.
So hashtag Team Dino is the hottest costume this year, not according to Respawn. Okay, Respawn, we get it, but that's
You've
not
had
all
an hour and a half. We're through.
But that's not all they've got up their sleeve. If you're looking for scary, fun activity, check out the Haunted Lost Sectors playlist. There are spooky stories, exploding pumpkin heads, and loot galore. There is definitely loot galore. I've gone from, I think I had 180 shards when I started the event yesterday when I was messing about, and I'm now up to like double that. So that's good. I'm getting my shards back.
But where are you putting that loot?
I'm saving it up now. I'm saving for the Witch Queen. I think I've got stuff. I'm now saving for Witch Queen. I'm saving Glimmer. I'm saving,
No, not your materials. Where are you putting all of that sweet loot the game is giving you?
I'm just eating it. Oh no, I'm not. No, sorry. I'm putting it into buying masks, candy for masks.
It's not going into the vault, that's for sure.
I've been using it on the bags.
Yeah, because
from it.
They used to go in the vault when they weren't ornaments. So many years ago, when I can tell you, many years ago, I used to put all my masks in the vault, kept them, because if you kept them, Bungie, I think it was the second Festival of the Lost that we had. They went, oh, by the way, if you'd have kept your masks from last year. Then you can use them again this year, but if you dismantled them, you don't have access to them. It's like, well, ain't I lucky that I saved everything?
Yeah, but then? Now they're in your collections. So that's how I got my traveler's head. Is I didn't keep them. I dismantled them all. I had them in the vault until 2 months ago, and then I needed space. But yeah, I had them on. Then once everything went to collections, I
can give you all a little bit of information about this. I kept one of my masks from last year.
Of course you did.
And I equipped it this year. I thought, does this still work in Haunted Lost Sectors? Even though it says it only works in the Haunted Forest, I thought, I've got to try this out. I've got to tell the people. I equipped it in the Lost Sector. It didn't work. Although I could select whichever mod I wanted on that I told you guys about last week, the Vampiric Touch, the Higher Purpose, all these other ones that I could stick on there. I could, cycle through them, but no, didn't work. And it was at a lower power level. I think it only goes up to 1100. Because of it being power capped, because it was in the old kind of realm. So yeah, I could put it on. It looked pretty. I could still put the ornaments on it, but it didn't do anything for the Lost Sectors. It didn't drop me any candy. Didn't drop me any good stuff. So yeah, I'm still keeping it though. It's still in the vault. It's put back in there now, in case.
No, hold on, stop. You just cleaned out your vault. You got rid of a whole bunch of stuff, right?
Because he didn't. His vault.
He did. No, he told us he got rid of a bunch of stuff. So
yeah,
how
but that was
in the world
in there.
Did you get rid of a bunch of stuff and still have all of this unnecessary whatever, man? Like, I don't get it, man. I really don't get it. Like, I just spent a half hour deleting all of the armors I don't actively have build sets for all three of my characters, and I'm back at 488 in the vault. It's like, and I'm skimming, I'm trying to be frugal with my stuff, and I still have a full vault. I mean, so you who keeps literally everything, how? Teach me your magic, sir.
One day, Padawan. Anyway, so there are some masks that you can get, which I did go over last week because they found it in the database. So we have, I believe it's the Tanix mask, the Honk Moon mask, Pyramid mask, Sweeperbot mask, the Ada 1 mask, and the Verix mask, is it? Or is Eramis, sorry. Eramis mask available this season to get from Eva Levante. And then as we went over with the Bright Dust, there were a couple of ones from the Bright Dust. I believe there's a Penguin one that's going to come up in a couple of weeks. And then next week is the Titan one that are only available for Silver and Bright Dust, which is quite nice. So if you want to add those to it. Plus there's a new Pulse Rifle that we did speak about in our lore section, which is pretty cool. It's not, I think as Cool Guy puts it, it's not, the next big thing, but it's still a bloody good weapon. So it's worth kind of maybe farming for some good rolls. And I do have a video from Cool Guy going over what rolls you might want to look out for. So check that out in our show notes. Also, with the festival, I will link the Bungie Festival of the Lost trailer. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a laugh. Have a look at that. And also, if you hung on to your Ascendant lens from last year, like I did, because I do, again, like I said, I completely forgot about that. I was, fixated on the toothbrush that they gave us 2 years ago, thinking that they'll give us something to do with this toothbrush, which I still have. And I had my Ascendant lens. Yeah, the Ascendant lens is exactly the same kind of quest. It was the shorter quest last
he had
year.
the damn box of raisins until they forcefully removed it from his inventory. Did he tell you?
Oh, I know. I mean, he didn't have to tell me. That's the thing I just know. Like, as sure as the sun is in the sky,
No, I think
all of the things.
I believe that you traded in your box of raisins for the stick of celery, which I think I still have. Yeah, I think I still have on my Destiny 1 account. Anyway, so last year with an Ascendant lens that they gave you, which just gave you a funny bit of text to say that, if you look through it, it did something, but nobody could figure out what to do with it. Again, hung on to it. Worth it because it gave me, I think it was an Ascendant shard, 3 of the new Jurassic Pulse rifles, some candies. It was very nice,
Did you get any good rolls on yours yet? Sidetracking?
I think so.
What'd you get? What's your good roll on it? You got stuff.
I got stuff, yeah. But Cheese Forever has a guide for if you want to easy solo candy, XP, and parallax trajectory. Again, Shattered Throne. I don't know why people don't know this, but people don't know this still. Go to the Shattered Throne, stand in a Titan pool of fire, and just kill people and get loads and loads of candy. Or just do what everybody else does and just play the game. Depends on what you feel like doing. So yeah, Cool Guy has his review on the Jurassic Green Pulse Rifle and what roles you should be looking out for. And then True Vanguard has a video on the Braytech Werewolf, going over what roles you might look out for on that one. Because again, although it's a 450 RPM, like I said last week, it's still decent with some of the roles that you can get. So worth looking out for. So did you guys actually get the Dino armor? Did you purchase it? Respawn.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it. Okay.
No, I got it. I mean, I get absolutely everything the Hunter has, even if I don't like it. So yeah, I have it. I'll just never, ever.
He's not happy about it, but he's got it.
Ever wear it.
Yeah, I bought the Bright Dust set for the Titan, and I unlocked it, and that's as much as I thought about it. But I have it, so at some point I can put it on and be a dinosaur. Rawr.
You'll have to be a dinosaur after the event.
Dinosaur.
That's the problem. I mean, at least the hunters can still be half a dinosaur with their half a head.
Well, I mean, the hunters really, they can head mask if they have that ornament, and then they can be like a full-on raptor. So it's great.
Whereas we have to actually take our dino head off to put the masks on, which are interesting. Bungie do say that they've a few slick cosmetic rewards for you to earn. Completing Festival of Lost Triumphs will net you the Headless Hue shader, the Beheaded Home emblem, and the Headless Horsepower Exotic Sparrow. And it may be covered in cobwebs, but it still runs fine.
Very important.
And did we mention to check the tower? Did they mention to check the tower?
The trees, both trees in the tower. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. With that, Time Sausage Gaming has a festival tower tricks and treats, because there's quite a few hidden areas that you can have a look at and a few things that you can do in the tower to make it even more festive if you want to do that. So go and check out that fun video.
You can get about 650 candy just from the 2 trees in the tower?
Yeah. That used to be daily, but it isn't at the moment. I think it's weekly. It's on a weekly reset.
It is weekly. That's correct.
If you are interested in what 15 epic mystery grand bags gives you, and is it
nothing?
Is it worth it? 360 Game TV has 15 epic mystery bags opened, and you can have a look at what they get and how much they're disappointed.
I just did that today, and it's not
worth
it.
They've never been worth it.
Because whenever they said, "Hey, you can get the 3 legendaries out of here," I'm like, "Cool, I'll farm for that." With all this extra candy I have. They neglected to mention you can also get literally every other legendary in the game too.
It's absolutely not worth spending your candy. I mean, I guess if you need materials, but Yeah.
I mean,
Don't
buy
think you're gonna get
the
anything
mask
useful out of
first,
there.
and then after you buy all of the masks and all the things you can buy with candy, then
that's the whole point. It just gives you a reason to, if you still got loads of candy left over, there's something to actually buy. And if you are interested in having a look at some of the stuff that is available in the Eververse, Gaming Animal has his Festival of the Lost 2021 calendar, so you can actually have a look at these items before you kind of purchase them and see if they're worth it. And TDT has a video this week going over the masks in a tier list. So you've seen this with quite a lot of YouTubers like Cool Guy, Aztecross, doing a tier list of like their favourite weapons or the best weapons. There is an actual mask tier list done by TDT. Very funny. Go watch that and check that out.
I haven't watched it, but I can tell you the Traveler mask is definitely the best. Just a big old snowball on your head.
Incorrect.
Yeah, it's
No,
incorrect.
Traveler's the best.
Chicken mask.
I think Chicken Mask was an A rating, I believe.
Mm-hmm. As it should be.
So did you guys know
what?
that they've upped the difficulty?
Yes.
I'm not believing you here.
No, I heard that on
the difficulty of what?
Video? You heard that on our podcast last week.
Yeah, well, on that too, I guess, maybe. Maybe.
So the Shattered Realm that
that
you can select from going to the Helm now has a drop-down box that you can select the difficulty, so you can do a regular version or you can do a legendary version. So, yeah, it definitely pumps up the power and the level requirements to tackle some truly worthy foes. And I can agree, it's very frightening in there, but it doesn't send you to orbit, but in each section that you have to align the beacons, it's like a death zone. So if you die, you just have to restart the whole thing again. There are some triumphs to do it solo. There are some triumphs to do all 3 versions of them. So when they are up each week, I'm guessing this is going to be rotated for the next 3 to 4 months as well. So you don't have to rush and do it now. And saying that, Ibontis has a really good guide this week of doing it solo and solo flawless. So if you want to have a look at him doing that, it literally step by step, where to go, where to stand, what to do, what loadouts he recommends for it. Worth checking that out. What he doesn't tell you in his video is in the first area this week anyway, you go into align the first beacon, there is a ship right in front of you that you can jump up onto if you can get up there quick enough without being killed. So you can jump up onto the top of the ship and literally hide on top of the ship, which is what I did, and shoot down from there to take them out. And then in the second area, I found that there is a ship underneath the platform area and a rock that I was jumping backwards and forwards to. You have to kind of keep quite mobile on it, but you can, take a lot of damage and give a lot of damage from underneath the platforms to the enemies, and just watch out for the snipers. But yeah, he has a really good guide on that, Ibontis. But there's a couple of hidey spots that I found when I was trying to do it. So, and I think the thing with the tank in the end section is just kind of keep out of the way of its blasts and just chip it down as much as you can, or you can take in a fire team. So you don't have to do it solo. It's just that there is a triumph for doing one of them solo. So yeah. Next week.
Is there any additional loot or anything from doing the harder version, or is it just same stuff but a better chance, or do we have any idea?
You get did you get an emblem for it or something?
Are you just guessing at this?
No, I heard somebody say you get something from it. I know you get a thing. It might be an emblem or it might be an achievement or something, but you get a thing.
You get a triumph. You can get a triumph.
That's what it is.
Okay. Well, that's what I said. I said there's triumphs.
Okay. So no weapon, there's no, if you're looking for something weapon or armor wise, no reason to do it. Or as someone who still hasn't, unlocked the new exotic trace rifle or, step foot into one of those in the last 3 weeks, is there a reason to do the hard thing other than it's just a harder version of the same thing?
It's a harder version of the same thing, but the chests
triumphs.
The chests are dropping high stat gear, so it's apparently worth it.
That's something at least for those of us who have no armor anyway.
So next week, their 6-player activity is also getting an up ramp in its difficulty, so the astral alignment will become a little bit more spicy. The recommended power is 1320, and there are going to be additional modifiers each day to keep things interesting. Loadouts are locked, so you pick your weapons wisely. Also, Failing to complete or wipe as a team sends you back to orbit. So, like, don't die, basically. I'm not sure whether this is going to be one of those things that you can select to go into, because if you're matchmaking and the whole of your team dies, I can imagine the rage that's going to ensue for this. I think this might be one that you have to have a pre-made fire team. I may be wrong, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head that if you go in and
don't take damage, he'll sabotage you.
Just everyone dies, and just the pain that he's going to take because everyone wipes and goes back to orbit isn't going to be good. So the legendary astral alignment modifiers are going to be weekly taken rotation modifiers, denial, taken vandals summon their shield significantly more often, epitaph, taken combatants generate blight geysers when defeated, and empathy, enhance radar, take increased damage from melee. And the constant modifiers are going to be champions, overload, and unstoppable, equipment locked, and match game. So what do you get for overcoming these extra challenges besides bragging rights? Well, there'll be a bonus chest waiting for you at the end. That's 3 chests in total for everyone keeping score at home. And if you haven't secured the catalyst for Aega's scepter yet, these extra chests are more likely to hold one. So Nullsy with his 30-odd runs, good luck, basically. If you haven't got it now, then
I think he's got it. Nosy, do you have it? He's in the chat. Hold on. Nosy, do you have your thing yet? Or are you still making those runs, dude?
He's probably given up. So earlier this week, as we talked about, they released update 3.3.1 that included Festival of the Lost and a laundry list of additional changes to the game. We missed a few changes in the patch notes that they wanted to set the record straight and let us know. So they fixed an issue with Hawkmoon's power causal shot not getting bonus damage. Note that on a temporary fix for this means that you'll once again lose the buff if you pull out your ghost on the final round. Who's pulling out
they
their
reverted it.
Yeah, who's going to be pulling out their ghosts on the final round? Stop pulling out your ghosts mid-game. This will be fixed in a future update. Fixed an issue where the firing line perk was not giving the intended 20% damage buff, so that's good. So we've now got that back. They fixed an issue with the new Monte Carlo ornament, the Western Front, causing the weapon to have increased recoil. I thought that was the case, and I wasn't sure, so I just stopped playing with it. Fixed an issue with the Ariana's Vow ornament bound by oath so that it shows the first glance perk status correctly. Bottom tree drawn blade ignition touch fixed an issue where the ignition touch detonators counted as melee damage. Again, they apologise for the mix up and stuff. So stuff's always going to fall through the cracks. They're always going to have to apologise because they're not perfect. The Peroty.
He's been lost, and now he's been found.
Has he been found wanting?
I don't know. He's been lost and found. That's all I know.
What does he want?
I don't know. The spider
he doesn't want anything.
The spider might be trying to spare my beloved, which I don't really appreciate, Spider. It's rude.
Well, all right then.
I love those moments of silence.
just leave it there. Yeah, all right.
Well,
cool. Whatever.
Bungie are passing the mic over to the player support for a quick update on known issues, but I'm passing the mic over to Peroty because this is his report.
It is. And we're excited to receive your report, but not through the cross-save contact form because as of October 13th, so 3 days ago before we even recorded this, the cross-save contact form is gone and we'll be accepting no new tickets. So
Excellent.
You have a guide. If you can't figure out cross-save at that point, start with a guide, and they encourage you to look at that if you're still trying to set up cross-save because they're tired of dealing with your tickets. It's over now. There was an issue mentioned when Update 3.3.1 was released about the Xbox and blocked players. An increased number of blocked players that were appearing in their roster listings. This is a result of a fix implemented where basically they were trying to make sure that the block settings were working. Well, good news, they work a little too well. So it seems like they can. Well, I mean, I'm guessing. I mean, because part of that fix was all like, if you blocked people, it wasn't blocking people appropriately. So I'm guessing it was just, this was telested. So Xbox players who are still seeing the increase of block players and wish to remove the block if this hasn't been fixed for you, which it sounds like it has, Go to settings in general, go to your online friends and safety, privacy and online safety, Xbox privacy, view details and customize, communications to multiplayer, set, quote, you can join cross network play to allow, and you can set your communication settings outside of Xbox and chat to everybody. So basically, let all the people talk to you if none of the people can talk to you, or just wait for the fix to hit you if it hasn't hit you yet. Earlier this week, Destiny 2 officially launched on the Microsoft Store and Xbox app for PC. So that's a thing you have now. If you're on the PC, you can have.
No, wait, back up. What?
There's an Xbox app for PC.
This was your Respawn's report roundup last week.
No. Yeah. What did he say? No, just say what you said. Forget last week. What did you say?
I said Destiny 2 officially launched on the Microsoft Store and Xbox app for PC. Players can learn more on how to access Destiny 2 from these platforms and set up cross-save for existing characters via our Destiny 2 Microsoft Store and Xbox app for PC guide. So that's a thing if you're still struggling with that. And there's always known issues, because like we said, there's lots of known issues. Steam players who are receiving disk write errors will need to manually... I'm not going to read them to you. You should go look at these in text and not try to delete files based on some man reading them to you over the internet. It's just not a good idea. The eyes
Respawn has tried to do that several times.
The eyes of the Scaran Corvus mask no longer glow. The one-punch finisher no longer makes sound when the finisher is executed, so it's a silent one punch. Completing the envisioned Ascendant Triumph incorrectly checks off Perilous Path on the trivial wayfinding Triumph. That's a lot of words. The German name for the heir apparent is inaccurately translated. Similarly, if you're playing in German, your surplus and overflow perks were translated to be the same word, so you're either getting surplus or overflow. It's exciting. You don't know which.
You're getting a surplus of overflow. Yeah,
possibly. Year 1 faction raid trials and vendor ornaments can only be unlocked through armor synthesis via synthwave templates and not the class specific synthwave bolts. Still too many stupid things. This is unnecessary. Some hunters have a small fixed object following their character model on the ground. I hope it's a chicken. Certain image assets for the dinosaur-themed armor sets in Eververse contain minor inaccuracies. The previews for these ornaments are accurate, however. Empire hunts aren't granting candy and spectral pages upon completion. The 1-inch punch finisher also has no sound. So I guess there's a 1-punch finisher and a 1-inch punch finisher.
Yeah, the 1-inch punch just came out this week. The 1-punch is like they pull all the way back and then they charge forward kind of a little bit. And the 1-inch Punisher is the Bruce Lee. You've seen Bruce Lee do the 1-inch punch, right? It's that scene.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make any sound, either of them. And they're investigating reports where players who complete the Book of Forgotten before finishing Eva's main quest on the alternate characters can't ever complete the quest. That's your known issues. There's a whole list of other ones if you want to read the whole known issues article. It's in the show notes, as it always is, because we love you, and that's what we put things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Titanic Park, and there's a Light Return video. There's lots of pretty movies this week. There's Titans going rawr. There's like a Where's Waldo style Guardian hunt for artwork. Apparently Zur is there somewhere in this picture of many people. And we're not gonna lie, this is one of our favorite times of the year. Crisp autumn air mixed with scary decorations and excuse to binge candy is a recipe for a good time. I love the spookiness. I've had a blasting game this week exploring the creepy lost sectors and throwing some pumpkin bombs at the headless ones. They're filled with loot. Heart Cosmo. So that is what's new at Bungie for this week, which is still somehow the 14th of October. The 12th was this week. I don't understand. I don't understand how time works.
Oh dear.
Apparently, neither do Bungie.
Yeah.
You guys are best friends.
Something else I put in the show note link we can link in the show this week is the science behind Destiny 2's Lorentz driver weapon. So apparently, I read this article. Space.com actually wrote about it. I saw it VMS 5000 watts. They basically said, hey, the Lorentz driver is based on this real thing called the Lorentz force. I read this article. It was very sciencey. So there's something about electric and magnetic forces and charged particles on electromagnetic fields. Now that I've put you all to sleep, if you're vaguely curious, Space.com had an article about how the the Lorentz driver is based on the Lorentz force, which is named after a real guy and is a real thing. So
it is.
Bungie puts lots of work into these things because they're based on, sort of real ideas, which I just thought was neat. But again, didn't really understand because I'm a tech, not a scientist.
Yeah. And something that I actually do put a lot of work into is the Respawn's Report Roundup, which will now be read by Respawn.
Truly.
I've already done it. The Report Roundup. Oh, you said Report Roundup. I heard Rant.
No more ranting.
I am ridiculous.
Reporting.
Okay. Reporting. All right. So is it only that one thing?
No. October 16th.
October 16th.
I'm certainly there's at least 17 or something.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, we haven't had it for many weeks. There's been, I think, we'll blame DMG because he's been off. But for many weeks, we didn't have a Respawn's Report Roundup or a rant. So,
do this.
2 for 1 this week. You got a 2 for guys.
Yeah, I gotta move everything over. Boop. Bam. Festival of the Lost has returned. This is by Bungie Store, by the way. Festival of the Lost has returned. The Bump in the Night in-game emblem can be redeemed exclusively during the Festival of the Lost by obtaining the Europa 1 lore book in the Forgotten Vendor. I don't know why it sounds like. Deal with it. Forever Falling says, where did my X go? Doesn't come back, changing shader or turning the ornament on and off again. DMG says, bug has been filed. Don't have an ETA for the fix, but the team is aware. You're not going to take a drink there because he gave information that was actually relevant this time, right? So this guy says, hey, I don't have an X. It sounds like Bungie informed the team that this guy's having an issue.
Yeah, but where's the X meant to be?
I don't know, but this guy says it's not there.
Well,
so.
he's showing it as a picture.
Yeah.
What's the name of the mask?
The Wild Hunt mask.
Well, there you go.
Well, we don't know if it's limited to this or if it's limited to the shader.
No, it's limited to that.
Okay. It doesn't say it's limited to that based on what I'm reading, but thank you, Mr. Psychic.
But that's the picture that he's taken a picture of the mask,
okay,
and in the preview of the mask, there's an X.
There is a color, and then there's a shader. There are 3 things in this picture, all of which could be wrong, sir.
I'm not happy with this.
DMG says... DMG says, known issue from the recent patch notes. Note, we have identified an issue where the Demolitionist perk no longer refills ammo when casting a grenade, and are looking to resolve this in hotfix 3.3.1.1. Again, relevant information, he told us to patch. Don't take a drink, unless you want to. Cool guy!
Do we take a drink or not? People rely on this drinking. Okay.
Not this one. It's only when he doesn't give us any information, right? And this one he gave us information only because he gave us the hotfix. Had he not given us the hotfix, then that would be a drink.
We drink when he passes it on to the team.
Okay. Right. Yeah, when he tells us nothing. Okay, cool guy. Dunes are out of control, lol? Not to mention the dead body double chain and going through walls. Yeah, I discussed that during the rant. Yeah, see?
Yeah,
cool guy.
They're real broken right
now. DMG says, believe the team is looking at some tuning on Dunes for the December patch as well. We'll have a TWAB in November to cover all the goods. Stay tuned. I'm
going to rant about that next week because I'm upset.
You do that.
I will.
Do it.
I don't know what I'm ranting about, but I'm going to rant.
Excellent. DMG also says, random Friday thoughts. The risks of transparency. Simple acknowledgement of an issue or future change can launch people into fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And
see the beginning of the show for that example.
Right? Seeping rage, all the rage. Promises can be broken depending on patch timelines / issues that may arise. DMG also says some players will always push for negative conversation, no matter the news or benefit to the overall community. I don't know anybody like that. Sometimes sometimes there will be gaps of time between acknowledgement and follow-up. as a fix for the change may be delayed, and sometimes we just get it wrong. DMG also says there are many more that come to mind, but it's always it's always a fun brainstorm to identify how comms could negatively impact the conversation before even issuing them. Well, you know what? Reach out to Respawn. I'll give you all the information you need, buddy. He also says no matter what these risks, we're looking to be as transparent as possible as often as we can, and he puts a little heart. Still doesn't make me hate you any less. DMG also says, looks like another change snuck into this patch. Trials matchmaking counter is now hidden. Team pushed quick to get this in. Now, what does that mean? Trials matchmaking counter. Is that the little second at the bottom that counts how many?
That's how many people have joined. You know, when it
Why
counts
does that matter?
When it counts up to 6, because they've hidden it. I don't know why it matters. It's probably just one of the things they're toying with, but yeah, it's hidden.
People were using that as a point of if they saw a 3-stack come in, they would dip out. There was a lot of kind of not trying to face up, or if it was a 3-stack going up against another 3-stack, they'd rather kind of dip out as a 3-stack and face solo players. So to negate that issue, that you don't know until you're actually in the flight in, and then if you dip out, you'll get a loss. You'll get a loss, or they'll upset. Get upset.
I like it.
Yeah, I saw that change. I saw that change too and noticed it, and I was like, I don't know if they missed it or if I just missed reading it. Good to know.
Yeah, no, I didn't understand why. Like, it was a big deal, and I was like, it's just counter. Now I see. Now that you've explained it, now I understand. That's a very good change. Okay, cool. Whoops, I did a thing. All right, here we go. Destiny. Gosh, dang it. Here we go. Next week. This is from Destiny News. Next week, Astral Alignment Legendary Difficulty. Recommended light 1320. What? We were all 1320 when the season started. What are you talking about? Locked loadouts. Failing to complete or wiping as a team sends you back to orbit. There's a smaller window that's got everything cut off. I guess that's right.
We've already talked about that, but yeah.
Right. And Destiny News says yes, there will be an extra bonus chest at the end. 3 chests total. There you go. Bungie Help says correction. Trials of the 9 ornaments are affected, not Trials of Osiris. And they're referring to previous tweet that says we're investigating an issue where Year 1 faction raid and Trials of Osiris ornaments can only be unlocked through armor synthesis using synth weave templates. Bop. Bungie Help says players who reach the maximum number of players on their blocked list cannot add more players to the list until they have removed at least 1 player from their blocked list. I didn't know there was a maximum number.
That seems ridiculous. If you want to block more than say 100 people, and the 101st person that is annoying the hell out of you just won't leave you alone, and you want to try and block them, you can't.
Yeah. What's the lesser of 100 evils here, huh? Bungie Help, we're aware of an issue in which notifications of this limit being reached are being suppressed for players attempting to block someone while already at the maximum number of blocked players. These notifications will show up next time the player logs into Destiny 2. Okay, yeah, take a turn. That doesn't really tell us. Bungie Help again. We're investigating an issue where creating a new character results in all previously acquired candy to be removed from player inventories. Players are recommended not to create new characters while they have available candy in their inventories. That is a weird bug.
Yeah.
Also, how many people are creating new characters during this season that bug has happened enough for Bungie to already?
Because I think there are some people that are. It's like trying to go back and do some of the Tangled Shore stuff that you can only do if you have a new character. So some of the YouTubes that I watched at the beginning of this week were recommending you delete a character if you don't really want it, to go back and play some of the Tangled Shore stuff if you wanted to get some of these things that have been available. But if you've already completed it, you can't go back on your existing characters. So maybe hold on not doing that at the moment.
Yeah, that. Unless you don't like candy. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Or if you've got everything, yeah.
Yep. All right, Bungie Help says, we have resolved an issue causing Festival of the Lost weekly bounties to award less bright dust than intended. Players who were affected will receive the missing bright dust in the future. Don't know when, but you'll get
more bright dust. But yes, thank you. Thank you.
Bungie Help says, Bungie Help is replying, saying today's maintenance has been canceled due to a late breaking issue. What they're replying to is today, 10/15/2021, which was yesterday. Yep. Bungie Net will undergo a background maintenance. No downtime is expected. Maintenance is expected to conclude at 11. So they were going to have maintenance and then decided against it because of a late breaking issue.
Because Telesto said no.
Telesto always said. Bungie Help says a change has been deployed to limit spectral pages and candid rewards in Wrathborn hunts, expunge missions, and the Lake of Shadows Nightfall. The Nightfall change will be reverted next Tuesday at reset, probably because Nightfall this week, if you have a good team, takes you about 3.5 to 4 minutes to complete, and Bungie doesn't want you having fun by finding quick ways to maximize your candy and pages, because Bungie sucks. DMG says, he's replying to something. Mythoclast feeling a bit hot. Oh my god! Alright. Team is looking at toning down the Mytho in the December patch. Goal isn't to nerf it into the ground, but some tuning is felt to be in order. Once we have more info, we'll let you all know. DMG, I know it's not your fault. I know you're not on the dev team, but you telling me this makes you hate you with the rage of 1,000 suns.
Just 1,000. Oh, he's getting off light there.
A little bit. Peroty, what is this? Is this a link to other stuff? Okay. Due to issues, we have disabled Raiju's harness, exotic hunter chest piece, and all activities, and the Telesto exotic and all PvP and Gambit for the reasons we already listed earlier in the show. Fallout, reminder that if you're getting into a weird glitch where you either not acquiring pages or candy isn't even dropping when wearing a mask, try to swap characters, load up a strike, shoot enemies a bit, and then swap back. Should resolve your issue. Chloe said at solely Chloe says at Ebontis, shrouded page sources. 2 per public event, every 2 to 10 minutes, not including the wait times. 3 per Gambit and Crucible match, which is every 5 to 20 minutes. 3 to 5 per strike or nightfall, every 5 to 15 minutes. 5 per astral alignment and shattered realm, which is every 10 to 20 minutes. That probably has changed. They're probably getting less now for that one. And 5 to 6 per expunge and Wrathborn hunts every 2 to 10 minutes. That also has been changed.
Yeah, that's been changed, hasn't it?
So it looks like
that was as of time. Yeah, that was as of Wednesday the 13th. Just how many pages can you get from different activities, which are useful for people trying to go. I have limited time, or here's the thing I want to do.
I would say probably strikes, unless you head to Earth, because Earth tends to have a lot of.
The problem is that they've nerfed strikes and nightfalls, so people are now reporting they're only getting between 1 and 3 pages. The same with the expunged and the Wrathborn hunts, because there was a way of doing a Wrathborn hunt, killing the first kind of ogre or whatever you're kind of hunting down, resetting the lure, finishing it off, getting 5 pages, and it would only, if you did it as a team, you could do it every 30 seconds, just keep doing it. But they've kind of patched that, and I believe Paul Tassi did a whole video on Bungie nerfing the fun out of things, because I see his point is that why nerf something that's in the game, that's been in the game since forever, that we've known to do this, and it's a fast way of generating these pages.
Because Bungie hates us having fun.
Yeah,
obviously.
But as he points out in his video, let's face it, the people that have wanted to kind of do this event in 2 or 3 days have already done this. They've maxed it out. They've got all the pages. They don't need to play that part of it anymore. They're just playing for the endless rolls of the Jurassic Green and things like that. They're not there like us normal people that may only have a short period of time where we can play. And these little exploits, it's not a bad thing to kind of be able to do this. Just to get those pages, aren't able to do it now because Bungie have put the ban hammer on it. But I don't know reasons why. I kind of agree.
If Bungie was a good guy, one of 2 things would happen, right? Number 1, they'd see that there's a problem there. Problem quotes, right? They'd see that there's a problem there, and wait until after this seasonal activity and correct it for the future, right? If they really wanted to do it, right? Because some people have already taken advantage of it, and they made sure to take care of it before the weekend comes when most people are going to have the free time, which I think is kind of a scumbag move, but whatever. So they should have, like I said, one, either let it play out this season and fix it for next season, or two, just leave it be. It wasn't hurting anything. People were still playing your game, and the only thing maximizing the pages does is it just maximizes your chances at that pulse rifle, right? It doesn't give you more pulse rifles. It just gives you a better chance to get a pulse rifle. So people could still spend all this time playing your game, farming for their perfect pulse rifle or one of those 2 perfect auto rifle god rolls, right? You're not losing out on anything. So why fix it at all? You're just making the game less fun and shooting yourself in the foot. I don't understand why you, as a game company who want people to play your game, keep doing things to take the fun out of playing your game. You know? Just...
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't want to say words that are going to get me banned on Twitch, but just know, I think, and I'm toning this down
enough to get yourself banned
greatly,
on Twitch.
it's a stupid idea. Stupid thing to do.
Okay.
And the last thing I have is from DMG. It says, psst, hold on to your adrenaline junkie rolls. Team has fun, good news coming soon. So, yeah, hang on to the adrenaline junkie. That's the one where grenade kills give you a damage buff.
Jurassic Greens with them. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to make it so that it has a secondary perk, like if you don't have kills grenade energy faster, so that you can chuck another grenade?
It gives the Titans an extra one-shot melee ability.
No, I think it's going to be something along the lines of, it
maybe it gives the hunters a one-shot
your magazine
melee ability. You never know.
Like Thresh, but for grenades. You know what I mean? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
I like it. I haven't read this yet. It's probably saying bad things about me, since saying bad things about me brought it to his attention. So.
No, it was a reply on Twitter that's brought to my attention.
At 2 Titans and 100, listening to you guys' episode, great stuff. Just wanted to let you know, not 100% who covered this, but I guess everything in the Legacy directory is part of story or content. It's just reprised content to play, which is why Vogue just dropped into the game. Oh, well, there you go. That's how it just dropped in. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I think that's sort of there. We don't have a story reason for this. We're bringing it back. So here, it's a legend.
It could have been. That's what I'm saying. It could have been, though.
Yeah. And that was from the Only Blade.
And that was from the Only Blade. Yep. This is from Dr. John Loanis Moatosos.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. I don't...
Picking on my pronunciations.
I don't even know how to say that. I'm not picking on you. I don't know how to read that.
I've read forward.
At 2 Titans and 100, love the show and look forward to listening to the new episode today. Minor bone to pick. Nitedemon. We need to talk about your pronunciation of Neiman. Correct. It's Nemlan? What is he saying?
Nemayan, I feel like, because I think that's a capital I.
Is that an I? Okay.
M-I-N. Nemayan.
Okay. It is Nemayan, as the lion of Nemea that Hercules kills in Greek mythology. That's the reason for the lion aesthetics. Exclamation point, followed by a happy face. And he's not making fun of your pronunciation. He's just telling you that you're wrong and fix yourself. Sir.
Look, we've gone over this many times. I can't read.
Or speak.
He's here for the accent, not for the competence in reading. That's
right. I'm here to just try and help.
He's the accent guy and the editor.
Out there.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether the information is 100% right with the pronunciations, yeah.
You get what you get and you don't get upset.
Yeah.
Plus,
you don't have to pay
Dr.
for it.
John, although I appreciate it, you have to keep in mind, if you corrected every single thing that he failed to pronounce correctly.
No, please don't.
We would never get done
open invitations
without questions and feedback.
No open invitations for that. No.
Yeah, no. That is feedback we will ignore. We know we can't record things. I think since like day one, we're like, listen, None of us can speak or read or talk, so we know this. We don't need that feedback. Give us different
We're here
feedback.
because we're charming and we're beautiful.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So in this week's tips, tricks, guides, and builds, we have a few videos to round out. We have Ascendant Nomad ranking every weapon archetype. Really good video. It's about 30 minutes long. Worth watching. I mean, some of the weapons are kind of, you know what they are, but he kind of goes through each one and gives them a good ranking. As I said, Ebontis has his solo flawless legendary Shattered Realm Debris of Dreams walkthrough, and the Spectral Page farming update as of the 14th of October. So the best places to kind of farm for those if you want to get them done quicker. Cool Guy has a really cool build this week using Arc Elemental Wells for a PvE build. Now this is mainly for a Titan, but he does say it can be used on a Warlock and a Hunter. So if you want to kind of do a good well build, Cool Guy's got one for you for that. Drewski has a Hunter Titan PvP build that you might be interested in Respawn. So this is being as tanky as a Titan.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen.
Might be worth a watch there. JB3 has a cool heavy and special ammo glitch that you may be able to use. I think this is on the Titan using one of those glacial spears. But again, it works of filling up your heavy and your special, whatever you're kind of reloading. So check that out. Maybe worth in PvP or the Gambit kind of thing. Time Sausage Gaming has an enhancement core loot cave. Now, I've seen this in quite a few other videos. I think JB3 did one, and there's a couple of other people. They go into this loot cave and they kind of just shoot the big yellow bar and they pop their whatever it's called to generate an enhancement core. I can't remember what they're called. It's those red cube things that you can get in your inventory.
Oh, Synth Matter Weave? Is that what it's called? No, that's no.
Hang on.
The enhancement thing? Hold on. Yeah, I'm looking too. The upgrade modules?
No, they
finest
drop
matter weave.
modules.
Sorry,
finest matter
it's
weave.
the finest matter weave.
Okay.
So yeah, you pop one of those and it says defeating a boss has a high chance of dropping an enhancement core. So I've got like 163 of them. And yeah, basically you can go into this lost sector cave. Oh, sorry.
I said, Jesus, dude, I have 14. You have how many?
163. They just keep dropping for me. I just can't get rid of them.
I just have 90.
There you go. So yeah, there was this cave that I've seen people go into on lots of different YouTube things, but nobody's actually specifically said where it is. But thankfully, Time Sausage Gaming has actually put a video together. I think it's on the moon, and go and check that out, because if you've got loads of these enhancement core things that you can pop, it might be worth trying to do it for getting rid of some of those. And then, as I said, Cheese Forever has the Raiju's harness and the Telesto bugs that were a thing, which have now kind of been disarmed. But if you want to check out those, have a look at those. And then I said that, I've got some Festival of the Lost guides, which we've already gone over. And then Nightfalls, I've got this week's Lake of Shadows Grandmaster guide from Fallout and above. And I will also put the cheese spot for next week's Grandmaster in the Nightfall list. And also I'll keep the previous Nightfalls stuff in there from the Hollowed Lair if you're interested in tackling those when they become selectable. I think it's in a couple of weeks they'll be selectable for the Grandmasters. So we'll keep them in our show notes if you're interested. And then finally, because of the Tangled Shawl disappearing, as I've kind of briefly mentioned earlier, and we did go over last week with the Destiny Content Vault, Time Sausage Gaming this week has put a couple of videos out there going over a couple of things that you may have missed if you have been playing Destiny for a long time and you just kind of missed them, or you just missed them completely. There's a caged sparrow called the Gambler's Palm that is only available on the Tangled Shore, and he goes over the many ways that you are able to acquire this. And the main one, if you look on your tab of how to acquire this sparrow, basically says you have to do spider bounties, but he goes over other ways of getting this sparrow. So if this is one that you might want to honor Cade, go and check that video out. And also, when the Tangled Shore did arrive, there was a point where we went through like a Shattered Realm kind of part of it, and there was a secret treasure emblem. And this is basically you're fighting a boss in a kind of Shattered Realm area, and then there's a secret path just outside of one of the portals. you kind of jump up, grab this ball, and then you finish the mission, and you have to take this ball over to a locked door. Once you unlock the door, it gives you a chest, and you get this secret emblem from it. Now, I think I did it literally when it first came out because it was all the rage, this secret hidden emblem. But if you've been new to Destiny, you may have missed out on this, or again, if you like Respawn, you kind of glossed over it and just didn't care. So, there's a video from Time Sausage Gaming for that. Also, if you've missed it, if you're new to the game, or if you just haven't been bothered to get them, the Tangled Shore region chest locations, 360 Game TV has a guide on that. And as I mentioned it last week, the Wishender exotic bow, if this is one of the exotics that you haven't got at the moment, Datto, I went back and found a guide that he did about 3 years ago, has the complete guide of how to get that. So worth checking out. So I'll keep those in our show notes and add to them if I find anything else in the next couple of weeks.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sounds good.
Are we done?
There we go.
Are we done?
We might be done. I don't know.
We're almost done. We're very close to done. You know what the only thing left to do is?
The outro?
To say thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Nitedemon, your very angry hunters spawned in real life. Your lore scribe is not Arf, who has visited us again with lovely lore. You should email the show at 2titans100 at hotmail.com. Find us on Twitter at 2titans_hunter. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Basically, anywhere you type in 2 Titans and a Hunter, there we are, standing behind you, just like Chad. Find all your favorite Guardians on Destiny. Listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold. Watch the show on YouTube, and until next week, gents, goodbye.
Deuces.
Deuces.
The hunters need your help. For only $1 a day, you can support a hunter.